Good morning, everybody. Welcome in, boys and girls and Indonesian grandmas. I know you're watching. I've looked at my numbers. Welcome to another episode of Design Analysis Cast featuring Squirrel and Martel, who will be back at some point.
We don't know where he went. Actually, we do know. He's baking. So
Today we're having the true VTuber experience as I fell asleep on my couch last night. I woke up at like 1 in the morning, realized I was no longer tired, and I needed to get some studying done anyway. So I made it through about half of my textbook, then started setting up the stream, then realized that I was in fact very tired, but it was already too close to the stream and I'd already committed. So I stumbled in a sleepy fugue into the convenience store and got a coffee and rice ball and made my way back here and decided to hit go live. So welcome everybody. Squirrel, how's your day?
I really struggled with that last sentence, didn't you, buddy?
Trying to do time zone math in my head.
Is the coffee kicking in yet?
Not yet.
Oh, well, don't worry, it'll get there. Yeah, I had an extremely busy week. I guess this is the theme today, right? I'm also a little tired. I'm like kind of squinting at the screen a little bit. I'm like, man, what's my name? That sort of thing. And then I had to run a bunch of errands, and then things go on. So here we are for the next stream, right? Which this is going to be a little bit ad hoc. So yeah, we were still finalizing the agenda less than 10 minutes ago.
More Arknights than I thought it was going to be, though. So everyone should be happy with that. Unless you came here because you were like, finally, he's not doing an Arknights stream. In which case, come back in like an hour, probably.
If you want to see Yang Wenli, don't worry, we'll get there. I mean, everybody does. It's Miracle Yang,
Who wouldn't want to see that guy?
I'd vote for him.
Doesn't matter.
That's true. He doesn't want to be voted for.
I guess there's a half of the galaxy that's not too happy to see him, but
Life's hard.
I feel like they don't hate him personally.
No, they actually quite like him, I think, if that's what seems. But I have a Monster Energy myself, just for reference and for viewers. I'm still booting up again.
I have a mega-sized coffee, which is actually pretty mega-sized for Japan.
So is a Monster Energy considered like excessively large?
No, their energy drinks are about the right size. It's their like soda sizes are like probably what you and I grew up with versus what they've become now.
Yeah. Yeah, the ones are typically a little bit larger these days, aren't they? I tried to drink an entire can of Monster because then I start like not shivering, vibrating, I guess.
Do you remember Vault?
I do remember Volt.
That was one of the like early. I don't even know if Monster was out yet when Vault came out, but I remember having one of those. I was probably in, I don't know, middle school or high school. And that was the first time like I legit like felt sick after having soda.
I think I had a similar experience at the Transformers, the very first Transformers movie, Midnight Premiere. I think I was in middle school at the time. Maybe it's hard to say. I don't know the exact date.
Actually, I think we would have both been in high school by that point because that was what, 2007, 2006.
Might have been in middle. Yeah, I might have. I don't know for sure. But I drank a Monster, and I was like so hyped up that I was talking so much that I actually like lost my voice. I became hoarse and I couldn't talk for the rest of the evening. It's kind of funny, actually. Me losing my voice because I can't shut up.
Ever.
Believe it or don't. It's up to you.
I'm I'm always here holding my voice in reserve just in case.
I'm glad you've got my back, buddy. Sorry, that's my best. I've been playing a lot of Armored Core 6, so I'm just like saying random rusty lines.
That is a game I need to get back into.
I might have picked it up because you were talking about the mecha thing you want to do at some point, and I was like, oh yeah, I can take some pictures of my ACs, and then I started making more.
I was I got stuck for a little bit on the level with the invisible ninja mechs. I was always like so close to clearing it, and then there'd be like one that would get me. And then life got
That's
busy
defending
again.
the Baus Arsenal. Or investigating the Baus Arsenal, that's the one.
Yeah, I would get as far as, I think, the final guy, right? Because you like descend into that pit, and then they're all clinging to the walls, and so you got to like bounce around and clear them off the walls. And it would always
That
be
part kind of
like just
sucks.
that last dude.
Yeah, the trick for that is there's 3 wall hangers, and there's one dude on the ground who's just gonna follow you around. So you kind of got to do this little thing where you boost towards a wall, and you're kind of like hovering along the wall and hitting your scan. Once you get close enough, if you have the right helmet, or not helmet, I should say, like headpiece that affects your scanner distance, you can actually see the guys with your scanner, and that'll allow you to target them. Then you just clean off the 3 wall guys, and then it's just a one-on-one. But it is a bit tricky. It is a bit tricky. I did die a few times in my first playthrough.
Then after that, I've got pre-patch Baltius to look forward to.
They didn't actually nerf them that much, but they did a little bit. Just a bit.
The one game I have checked to manually update on Steam, and I've got it set to offline mode. The one I want.
You want the
I don't
day
even
one
care that much
experience?
about it anymore as I did back then, but I'm like, I want the original experience.
He did kind of kick my butt a little bit the first couple times. But it turns out I was overcomplicating it. I should have get good, let me put it this way: it wasn't pre-patch Radon from Elden Ring. That was a totally different beast. Doge, welcome. Viewers, welcome. Hello, hello. We're all booting up mentally. So
the coffee's starting to kick in. The sandwich is starting to kick in.
But should be jelly donut. I think you got a jelly donut.
All right, how silly of me.
I'm just localizing it for the viewing audience.
I love the jelly donuts with the salmon. It's the best. Also, while we're just
I found the crab ones are pretty good.
I figured we should at least give the viewers something nice to look at.
Oh, right, yeah. Subject numero uno for today.
Kind of a twofer on that one.
Oh, yes. Hello, third panel member. Welcome.
Yes, I am Martel.
How did the baking go? Did you save the buns? What were you cooking anyways?
Brownies.
Yeah, they're good. Are these brownies in the room with you? Are you eating said brownies?
Yes.
Good. Okay, just wanted to make sure. But yes,
this was actually where we arrived at the theme for the stream. So I wanted to do some Arknights, but I'd also tease people with Battlestar Galactica.
This one's going to be a bit of a hodgepodge, but yeah. So this is I'll say this to start. This is one of the more requested characters, going from the comments of the previous videos. People like the goat lady.
Wait, are you saying if the audience hadn't asked, you weren't going to show me the goat lady?
Well, okay. There's a lot of characters. There's like over 300 of them. I was kind of going through. She would have been on the list, but just later. So we expedited her. We pushed her up to the front of the queue. She basically got to cut the line.
This is a
request of mine.
Yeah, it was one of Martel's requests. I hope you have some good fake nicknames, by the way, because I didn't have anything on her.
I was gonna say this is a
mind drawing a blank.
This is a horn tier design, so.
Oh yeah, this one's good. I will totally not accidentally say the character's silly name. I promise. I hereby vow
that I do have certain weaknesses.
He likes the military ladies, Chad.
Gotta figure it out for themselves.
Big guns as well. I like big guns too, you know?
All I'm saying is, if you don't find uniforms that have been tailored to a female form to be at least somewhat alluring, there's no hope for you.
This lady has a fancy tailor, we'll say that.
All right, coffee's kicking in. I'm waking up now.
So do we want to? I guess we have. That's funny. This is the first time we've done it with two people, as the not guessers. So yes, feel free to interject in whatever way you desire, Martel. I guess we'll. You know, if for those of you viewing, of course, think of your good fake code names for this character. And we'll get to that portion at the end.
I'll the usual method for anyone new coming in.
Righto. I think this is the only major character we're looking at today. We'll look at some other stuff in a bit, but but yes. Okay, shall we take it from the top?
Yeah. All right, so I'll be guessing the animal type, guessing the personality using the handy wheel of temperaments, as well as some good old-fashioned facial analysis. And then I'll take a stab at guessing how she functions in-game, which fake country she's from, and then you, chat, will have a chance to try and fool me with your fake code names, and I'll try to pick the real one out from all the dummy ones you guys throw out. And then we're gonna do Goat Lady, Squirrel's, a few other Arknights prepared, and then we're gonna kind of segue into a general discussion about military uniforms, focusing here more on dress uniforms than combat uniforms, because we could do an entire series just on combat equipment and uniforms and what it says about your fictional setting, whether you intended it to or not, which I would love to do at some point when I have more time.
And with that prelude, I think you might have figured out the animal already.
I think you told me. It's not too much of a stretch, though. I mean,
I don't know if I did or not.
She either has to be a goat lady or she has to be one of the whatchamacallits, like the demon people.
Sarcas.
Yeah, those. Well.
Oh, the ears are a dead giveaway.
The ears are the hint.
It's weird because I'm pretty sure that the Caverns are the only human subspecies that only have the one set of ears.
Well, it's inconsistent. There's a little bit of it that's artist based, right? So some of the other goat people we've seen have the normal human ears plus the goat ears, but some only have one, and it depends on the character, really.
Huh.
But she does not seem to have a set of human ears. It's just a single, like, flappy fuzz thing coming off the side of her head.
And if I didn't already know, the goats were from, like, the Germany, Prussia equivalent, the uniforms did give away too.
Yeah, it definitely gives you German vibes. I feel like there's not a whole lot of. I mean, what else would just maybe make you think of it? It's not flamboyant enough to be French.
Yeah.
Too flamboyant to be American, you know.
Too aristocratic looking to be American.
Yeah, really that. That's a better way to put it.
Although it's not too far off from, like, the service alphas. But you got the extra ornamentation going on and the extra little bit of, like, color variation going on. Makes it look European.
So what else might stick out to you? Like, what do you think this character's, you know, where they come from? But, like, what do you think their background is? Something you might be able to gather from this. Totally not a leading question.
Some kind of noble lineage.
Interesting.
So she's clearly been in the force for a while because she's got the she's got
It's kind of that
her
metal war going
medals
on, you know.
there. She's got some kind of like Kaiser service medal there, and then I feel like we've seen that logo somewhere before on her arm.
You have seen that logo somewhere before, yes.
And then the aristocratic bit came more from this ornamentation on her shoulder there, along with something about how decorated the sword is makes it look like a noble lady's weapon. Actually, I'm getting similar vibe. I mean, a lot of these characters wear ties at this point. That this is like logically doesn't make sense why this would tip me off, but like I'm getting a similar vibe that like Texas had.
They do have ties.
Julie,
As far as I know, they don't have any association with each other.
that is actually a very good guess for reasons you don't understand right now.
But well, let me say, he's picking up on a vibe that is there, but it's not the way he thinks, perhaps.
Yep.
Don't you love how frustratingly vague we can be? I'm enjoying
And
it.
yet I still occasionally land like really close to what's going on.
We'll tell
You
you
do.
after you guess the name.
I mean, you got Horn basically completely correct from the start, so you know he's got some good guessing. We got some good thinkers in there. That's at least 3 brain cells.
Also, the use of the orange is fantastic choice of color. It's like bright enough that it pops out a little, but it's still like a dark enough shade that it looks realistic. Like it makes sense as a color on a military uniform still, but it adds a little flair. You know, it's not like rescue orange like the Coast Guard or anything like that. It's like I really
I'm
like
gonna
the
stab
like
you orange.
I like that like burnt dark orange looking color like on actually some of the old was it some of the old NASA spacesuits or was it the Soviet spacesuits that used that?
I would guess it was the Soviet ones off the top of my head, but I'm too lazy to Google it.
It's also an unconventional choice for a dress shirt, so that distinguishes the character.
I mean, is it ever been a thing where there's like different types of dress colored shirts based on like rank or something? Is that a thing that's ever been a thing? I'm sure it has somewhere.
Um, I can't think of any real world example that springs to mind, but I think it's a cool idea.
I think you're thinking of Star Trek.
I was gonna say that's
Well, that's a
the
little. I'm
closest,
not
but
not
that's
quite
more
that.
the external, which remind me about that later. That'll come up later.
Yeah, color coding your people kind of went out of fashion in like duty, uniforms
Well,
because of snipers and stuff.
the one place where it's still alive and well is on the deck of Navy ships. So like
Yes, true.
based off your role on the deck, you'll be wearing it's typically like a sweat top in a very solid color, and then like your cranial or your protective headwear will be that same color. Like the fuelies will wear purple, chain gang will wear blue, etc.
And they've got a very like real operational need to do that,
You mean,
especially because you're like if you're on a flight deck.
wait, do you
You
mean
want-
that sailors don't wear ocean-colored camouflage anymore?
Not anymore.
You know, in case one of them goes overboard.
We don't want to make sure they're hidden in the ocean.
One of the best pieces of like bad lore about that I heard was someone trying to tell them like, oh no, but they put like a sea dye in the uniform, so if you actually fall in the water, it'll like turn bright orange. I was like, okay, why doesn't that happen when you launder it?
Yeah.
Maybe it's just a good way to get rid of sailors you don't want. I don't know.
Because they do the like an ejection seat aircraft, the harness that the pilot wears that's connected to the parachute has like saltwater activated sea dye in it. So if he goes in the water, the harness automatically like kicks out sea dye.
And presumably you aren't running ejection seats through the wash.
Yeah. But what you do have to be careful of is the tradition when someone has their like last flight at a unit is that when they come back from the flight line, like everyone's hiding and waiting, and then they run out and like dump giant buckets of ice water on them. So if you forgot to take your harness off,
Now you're orange.
yep.
A little historical fact. The water activated dye thing has been around for a lot longer than you'd think. In the interwar period, this was even, I think this might have been as early as like First World War, but I can't confirm that. But one thing they started doing on ships was using colored dyes in their shells. So when you would fire, and you're looking at it through a rangefinder, and you're seeing like this very small silhouette of the enemy ship you're trying to shoot at, and you get the splashes. The splashes would be of a particular color, and that way you could tell which ship, if there was more than one ship shooting at a target, which ship's shell splashes are those, and you would correct based on color, right? Which is a really cool way to do that pre-radar.
That is neat.
The Japanese were particularly famous for really leaning into this. So yeah, there you go.
The Japanese interwar IJN stuff is so funny to read about because it's just this eclectic mixture of absolute brilliance and dogmatic unwillingness to contemplate new things or design actually good ships.
So you might say that there is some dichotomy inherent within the meta-narrative, or something like that.
It's probably good for a thesis or two.
Yeah, you could probably write a thesis on that. Anyways, sorry for that tangent.
Go, lady.
We'll have to send that to show that to chat at some point so they understand why we keep bringing it up.
What, the IJN?
No.
Well,
the dichotomy inherent in the.
Oh, yes.
The Darth Plagueis the Wise studies. It's a long story.
I was going to say that
only be about 2 minutes tops.
The orange shirt, though. I would say, unless there's other characters in the same organization that don't wear it, it seems like it's part of the uniform since it mirrors the orange on the cuffs here.
I didn't notice that. Good point. It almost looks like the pockets too. You know how like pockets sometimes have different colored insides?
Yeah.
Like the pocket on her chest has like a little bit of orange on there too.
That's true.
It looks like it's slightly folded out.
Or is that a pocket
You're sure
square?
that's not a pocket square?
Jinx. I don't know. Maybe. Hard to tell.
Oh, though, actually, I just thought of a historical example. It's not shirts, but I'm pretty sure. I can't remember if it was the French Foreign Legion or the Zouaves, but I'm pretty sure their pants changed color based off rank.
The French would do that.
I was painting up some minis to be like French Foreign Legion in space. And when I look up pictures of like old-timey pictures of French Foreign Legion, some had red pants and some had white pants. Oh yeah, here we go.
You're sure that's not a role thing as well? Because the blood stripe originated as an artilleryman signal.
Wait, it's not because of Chapultepec?
Well, in the United States Marine Corps, yes, but in continental armies, the red stripe, and also in the United States Army, the red stripe was worn by artillerymen.
Ah, hence red legs?
Yep.
Oh, that makes a lot of sense.
Okay, that explains that now.
Yeah.
It's like how the what's the official word for like the short party guys that do like the logistics onto the beach?
Red patch.
Yeah.
CBs?
No,
that's
this
different.
is
No, that's a Navy thing. Inside baseball.
I heard that red patch originated because non-logistics guys would try to go hide in the rear, and so the logistics guys started marking themselves with the red patch. So if you tried to hide amongst them, you'd be spotted.
It's one way
I
to
can
do
believe
it.
it. I mean, do you know why? Colonels in the modern era all have silver eagles when you would think gold would be higher?
I remember watching someone's video on that, but I cannot remember what the reason was.
Because pre-Civil War, infantry colonels wore gold eagles, but all other colonels wore silver eagles. And then after the war, they wanted to just simplify things, and silver was both cheaper and more common. So everyone wore silver eagles.
Hmm.
That was back when we were still trying to figure out which metal to base the dollar off of.
Personally, I'm an advocate of bimetallism.
I think there are some compelling arguments, but we perhaps would be going outside the bounds of our stream today if we started going into, monetary policy. As much as I would love that.
You mean you don't want to hear me go on a 5-hour rant, which will conclude with, "You shall not crucify man upon this cross of gold"?
All right there, Williams, Jetting Brian. Calm down, calm down. Just eat your brownies.
Someone got the reference? Excellent.
I read books, okay?
All right, I found a picture illustrating my point here, but it's 300 by 216 pixels, so I can't actually tell you who got the red pants and who got the white pants, but the French did use pants color for... Why did they even bother uploading these photos of this size?
They're French. They can't help it. This is what you get for using the metric system.
The French invented it.
You get metric file dimensions.
So, there's precedent. And it's a cool idea. All right. Where were we, though? Right, pants.
Pants.
Pocket square?
She has some very nice pants.
Well-tailored pants.
Got some chains. Got some
Drop
knives.
holster on the left thigh.
More knives.
Got armor.
Because why not?
Oh, here we go. Oh yeah. All right. Got knee pad there. Knife. Oh, is she left-handed? Or I guess she's got enough weapons that she's just got to like choose some to be in the left hand and some to be in the right.
I think she's ambidextrous.
I think it's because they're playing off of the asymmetry in the torso. Because she has the armband on the left arm and then the shoulder plate on the right. So to balance it, they put the thigh holster on the left leg.
Got it. Oh yeah, that makes sense. She even got medals on one side, pocket square on the other. This arm is behind her back. This arm is visible.
Lower button unbuttoned.
Yeah, even the buttons
Just noticed that.
They even like forced that asymmetry, even though the jacket itself would have all the buttons on the same side.
It's impressive how much character you can add to a character with such small details.
One big sword here, multiple smaller weapons here. Cool chain that the sword... Actually, I can't tell if this is actually mounted to this chain or if this is just like a... Well, I don't know why you would mount a pocket watch chain to the rear of your belt and then bring it around to your pocket, but... Also, I just love that we have this, like, early 20th century style dress uniform, but then we still have this very, like, modern, futuristic-looking gear strapped onto it.
So
But what
the
does that
chain
imply
is
about the
definitely
character?
holding the sword. Just for clarification.
Okay. Oh yeah, because that That's the blade, not a scabbard.
I think that is the sheath and the swords in it.
Hmm. And it might be attached to the chain or possibly not.
Oh, it's definitely attached to the chain, but
So I am curious. What inference would you make about a character with an aristocratic 19th century European dress uniform with, modern combat gear?
Sensing a dichotomy underpinning the meta narrative.
that's a cheat answer, and you know it.
Boo.
Also, which group is this that she's part of? If we've seen this symbol before.
So I'll just tell you this one outright because
yeah.
That actually says Keurig. Do you remember who comes from that place?
Wait, is this the same organization that Horn's part of? Because that.
No, she's English.
Badge
Snow
there.
leopards.
Okay.
Similar dress stuff, but no. Rita is very British, and this character is very not.
Accent is very German.
That's a. I'll just tell you, since I know it's on the end of your mind, you've seen it. That this is the same organization that, should we say, country that the Silver Ashes are part of.
Okay.
So their logo was plastered all over themselves, and she's got it too. That might give you a hint.
Also, I really like how the artist did the ear floof here.
That's quite nice, isn't it?
He used like a softer brush, so it's not.
You might know this,
hard
Squirrel.
lines.
Is the artist who did this character the same one who did the character introduced in Lingering Echoes?
Let me double check.
It's not. It's
think
pretty much
so. This is the same artist that did the Silver Ashes, just for reference. And Margaret and Uncle, and Plopsis for that. Actually, this is one of the core artists of the game's team. So,
oh wow, okay.
This
guy has
1,
range.
2, 3, 4. That's almost 30 characters drawn by. That's not counting NPCs, by the way.
Also, the black lining.
It's gonna be like 70.
Like the black lining and silver trim on the inside of the olive khaki uniform, that looks so good.
This artist is pretty goat, as the kids say.
So Kent has pointed out in chat, they go kind of crazy with the hair.
Yeah, her hair is probably the most wacky part of her whole ensemble.
Yeah, there's a lot going on there.
Oh, it keeps going.
Just scroll down a bit if you would.
Yeah,
the drapery there that's swinging out to the side there. She almost had.
Go down towards the feet area.
Whoa, keeps going.
Yeah, look at the feet. Yeah. I'm kidding.
And those are some nice shoes.
But that's quite long hair. Remember, it's anime rules. Long hair is not a disqualifier. I mean, look at Blaze.
I can tell you, this type of hair is very satisfying to draw.
Big swooshy lines.
You can do a lot when you give a character a lot of hair. It gives you more options for how to break up the shape of that character or balance out the character. Because you can just be like, oh, I need to add more weight to this side of the image, so now her hair is going to swerve this way and then come down this way.
I mean, my favorite example of that phenomenon is probably still Province with the giant ass tail, which is like half the image.
Plus the way he's got it going, you can also emphasize how she's not standing straight upright, she's got this got her hips stuck out to one side here. This imperious stance, and then the hair emphasizes that.
It was like she was looking at walking garbage. So that's the vibe I get.
So what temperament do you think she is?
Oh, bring forth the humors.
We have the humors. We have the humor cheat sheet.
I think that it was TV tropes that I first saw that. Yeah, using Winnie the Pooh characters as examples of the humors.
That's a good one.
It's a very good shorthand.
I'm just gonna go for choleric.
I'm going choleric. This
Are we
is
in
the
agreement?
face. This is the face of direct action, ruling,
Obsessive,
probably
dominant,
obsessive.
direct, ruling.
If I was to describe this character in a single word, direct would probably be the one I would use.
Yeah.
No, not one to mince words.
Right. You know how how every group has the straight man?
Mm-hmm.
He plays the straight man for a group of straight men.
You're all clowns compared to me.
I think that she would get along very well with Fiametta. That's just a guess. I don't think they've ever actually met.
Which also actually fits well with Rabbit being the choleric one. Surrounded by... Man, yeah, when you think about it, Rabbit is surrounded by Tigger, Eeyore, Piglet, and Pooh.
Actually, have either of you ever watched Breaking Bad or Better Call Saul?
I have not.
Never got around to it.
Okay. Then for any in chat who have, she's a lot like Mike Ehrmantraut. Just very professional, no nonsense.
I just thought of a hilarious headcanon for Winnie the Pooh. Rabbit is a retired veteran of Salamandastron. It's like, you know what? I'm going to retire. I'm going to buy a nice farm out in the wilderness, nice and peaceful. 100-acre woods, like low population density. Life should be chill.
That's a reference of culture. For those of you in chat who don't know, you're a Zoomer.
Do kids even read Redwall? Well, I was going to ask if kids read Redwall these days. Do kids even read these days?
Hard to say.
Anyway.
But yeah, I had the great fortune of reading that book in school. So we were spoiled.
That was one of the
library.
I picked up Martin the Warrior from the bookshop. I was a little too young for it at the time, so I didn't end up reading it, like just in terms of like length of it. But I was very confused at first because that was the first time I had seen like a book with like books within books, like book 1, book 2, book 3. So like when I saw the table of contents, I was like, "What's going on here? Which book did I buy?" But it sat on the shelf for a bit. Then a couple years later, I got Lord Brocktree out of the library. It was awesome. And then I like binge read the whole series over that year.
I had to see if there's been any more. I haven't read that since probably like 2010.
Didn't he pass away back in 2011?
He did. This is like 2008 or 9 or so. It was around then.
Oh, even earlier.
Because he was an old fella. You know, he was in the Merchant Marine during the war. So
first round or second round?
I think it was round 2.
I'm joking. Yeah. All right. I want to see if our friend has any different reactions to the E2 art.
Oh, do it. Yeah, let's actually do that one. That would give you a wee bit of a clue.
All right.
Bring up Goat Lady the second.
We're still on track. 20 minutes to go.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's big, so you may have to de-enhance.
I like the giant celestial goat.
What
So
looks like
there's a
armor plate.
meme, and I'm still gonna I'll try to find it and send it to you sometime this week, of like how to design an Arknights character .mp4 or MP3, no JPEG, and it's like put some large animal-looking thing behind the character, attach random garbage to their clothes. Right? It's like there's stuff like that. It's pretty funny. I will try to find that.
Inaccurate.
Not inaccurate. Just add belts. No, that's the Nomura school of thought. We don't, not specifically belts. It can be also not specifically zippers.
Please note, she has a shoulder holster.
A shoulster, if you will. I will excuse myself.
And she has a normal tie.
So she didn't pass flight school, right? Because it's not cut.
Yeah, no. I actually did find one of those like square tipped ties at a secondhand store. So I have one now.
I mean, you know what? If everybody in the world dressed like an Arknights character, I would not be unhappy.
That was one of the cool little things I saw in Tokyo, was like there were people that actually like wear the street fashion, like just walking about town doing stuff. I was like, that's really neat. It's not just confined to like fashion, social media, and like memes.
This just makes me feel like I feel self-conscious about my wardrobe looking at this character.
Although I will say, there are some parallels to her hair in the tie, in that it's one, excessively long, and two, the clip is so far down, pretty much useless.
So this is an action pose, if I ever saw one.
Oh yeah.
To say the sword is segmented. Is this another like sort of the creator style weapon that can like extend into a
I
like
don't
a whip
think
style
so.
weapon, or is it just like
It
a neat?
is actually based off of a real sword.
Like I know it looks like that. It does not do the Soul Calibur Ivy thing or the Byleth thing. I totally understand why you would get the impression, though.
So you said this is based off a real sword?
Somewhat.
Kind of.
I like the the weird sort of looking Natsuba handguard. That's like not quite like the flat ones the katana had. I'm assuming that's an element drawn from the historical weapon.
Again, sort of. There's a reason we're playing coy here.
I see.
I'm actually going to look that up.
Would talking about the historical weapon give away your name?
There's a reason we're playing coy.
I'll stop metagaming.
You realize that regardless of whether we give a yes or a no, that will give you information, so we have to remain silent.
I've learned my lesson. He's too good at guessing.
Oh, I love the details the artist put in here. They're like, he's got the medals. The medals are like flying away along with the jacket. I like how
I said, action shot.
This this part of her hair is like perpetually like sort of like curled a little.
I will point this detail out too. It's just a little bit of a weird coincidence, but because they're different artists and they have nothing to do with each other. But she's almost wearing the same clothing that Texas is wearing in that one outfit of hers, where she's wearing the red. Like, yeah, dress shirt, necktie. She's even got like the, what do you call that? Like a holster kind of. It looks like it's a shoulder holster kind of thing.
Shoulder holster
with the fancy pants, with the coat. Like they're almost wearing the same clothes, just with.
Okay, yes, but
it's not their fault if it looks awesome.
No, yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like
dress pants, dress shirt, and a jacket.
They both have great aesthetic taste. Okay.
Like Look, there's a reason why over the last century, dress shirt, jacket, and dress pants have become the standard uniform for everything. Because it looks good and it's not too expensive to make.
So what this might tell you is Italians and Germans have similar fashion in some sense, because it is a universally good fashion.
I like these sword designs. Almost
no nonsense, just like the rest of the character.
Like lightsaber-like looking here.
Very simple, very direct.
Once it's no longer, or after the name guessing, hopefully you guys can point me to the historical weapon. Also, the way the artist draws faces is really good. Like both of these, she's like staring basically like directly at the viewer. And he like
signature look of contempt.
Does a very good job with the expressions. Cool. The giant armored good looks sweet too.
Dark Souls boss.
Even here,
they have some good helmet
here,
design.
He's using the hair to help balance out the image.
Same ears too.
Actually, so far, all of the German helmet designs have been good. Like, especially the Hexenkönigs face mask.
That's der Hexenkönig to you. I can read off his like Cetra-like list of titles, but I will spare the stream that format. Actually, now that I think about it, there are some distinct Cetra vibes, aren't there?
Immortal Witch King. Yeah.
I mean, like megalomania.
Well, megalomania, but backed by extreme competence.
Yeah, just like Cetra.
Exactly.
Yeah, she's got a cute little tail, as chat points out. The Gap. It's the Gap, chat. We found it.
Wait, oh, there it is.
It's so subtle, you almost can't notice it.
The goat and sheep tails in the game are a bit...
Don't point this out to her, she'll probably stab you.
It's so
Or
funny.
at least throw you off a cliff.
It's okay.
There's a story where a journalist is like heckling her about stuff and she hangs him on a pole.
I already
like
love this character.
Pole, like
you don't have to sell me on her.
Yeah, can you figure out what she does in the game? You may have some hints.
Nice gameplay.
Looks like she murders everything nearby her.
Stabby, slashy, slashy. I think
no
that's
points.
This one's pretty straightforward. It's kind of like Rita. She shoots the gun.
Looks exactly like what it says on the tin.
Yeah. Point towards enemy, right? Or face towards enemy.
I will give all the points to the artist for the costume looks awesome and the facial expressions are really good.
Would you say this is one of your favorites so far?
I haven't been saying much because I've been very distracted. Yes,
so if you were to look back and
this is
especially don't worry, chat. The greatest of all content is coming eventually. Tier lists, but that's not going to be for a while. But there will be tier lists. We'll actually make our tier lists and we'll compare them to each other. It's going to be pretty great.
Do we compare them after we make them, or do we just bicker about it live?
First we could do both.
Then we bicker about it live.
Yeah, we could. ¿Por qué no los dos?
Yeah, we say that we all have trash taste, and
you know how it goes. No, I get to be the Clarkson, right?
No, but yes.
Yes. No,
right. You're the
I'm
Clarkson. I'm the James
Clarkson.
May.
You're James May. Does that make Miliardo Hammond?
Yeah, Miliardo is Hammond.
Yeah, you're Hammond. We're gonna make fun of you for being American and eating cheese and everything.
Oh, hang on. I thought I was the Sting and the chorus was Hammond.
Oh, right.
But
got the
does
reference
that mean
wrong.
I don't get to say anything though? I just get to drop my tier list and be like, this is the objectively correct tier list.
No. It means that you're going to write a tell-all book and then be fired, and we're going to blacklist you afterwards.
Oh, that's unfortunate for me.
You're being fired from your own stream. Sorry, we're passing this on to
That's all right.
Cororis afterwards.
I'm gonna
He
chop
gets to
my
be the
own
new-
hands off
the new
now to
beer
prevent
craft.
this fate from occurring. Can't write if I don't have these.
There you go.
Oh shoot! How do I move the mouse now? Right.
Turns
Right.
out how you learn how to write with your toes, and then you have to lose your
With your
feet too.
D's?
I don't know if anybody's
Alright.
watched. Does anybody know what we're talking about? You guys watch Top Gear, right?
Do the kids watch Top Gear anymore?
I think it's
According
called
to
the
YouTube
Grand Tour now,
demographics.
right?
It is. Well, it was. Rip. But
Shall we
Yes, let's
do the code name?
We shall. Let's see here.
yeah, you've kind of gotten most of the vibes. I think you. We may be doing some revisits. That's not a bad idea, chat. Once he gets his feet wet, so to speak, then we're going to look at some other stuff. Right now, we're looking primarily, there's two sides to this coin. One of them is what the artist has presented to us. So, pen, paper, or really it's digital these days, and give the character their look. See what you can show us with the visual medium. The other side of the coin is the writers. And the writers are the people who come up with the idea of what is this character supposed to be, and then they write the stories and so on and so on. This is a weird game in that a lot of the writers are also the artists, at least from the core group. I do think that has a meaningful impact on a lot of the stuff they put out. So you'll oftentimes have the same person have input into the idea-making process of the character. They may not necessarily be writing dialogue, but, it's like, this is what the character's supposed to be, and then they go and draw it, right? I don't think that's very common. So, and that's mostly just true for the in-house artists, as opposed to when they get help that's outside, they kind of go to them with this is what the character's supposed to be, here's your guidelines, go draw, So, I do think there is a difference between characters drawn by the in-house artists and ones coming from external artists. That's a theory of mine. I could perhaps develop that at some point and put some coherence into it. But
I think we need to do lists of the in-house.
We would do that and be like, these are the people. Yeah, that's for maybe a future stream idea at some point as well. See if we can spot the difference. Because I think there is one. Oh, go ahead.
Another way you can test that, I think we talked about this before, was where you don't show me the character. You describe the character to me as if I'm the artist that has to draw them.
Oh, that's a cool idea.
And we see what I come up with. Because I do have some of my own art I might drop into this stream, since it's on the topic of military uniforms.
As chat says, it does seem that there is some back and forth between external artists and the writing team, but I think they generally have an idea of what the character's supposed to be about, and then they do sort of a process of back and forth of the artist is like, oh, I want to try this out, and then they're like, okay, we like it, or we don't like it, and that's what I've heard. So it's not like a one-way street. It is a bit of a circular process, but generally speaking, you'll see they'll have an idea of what a story is supposed to be, and it's like, here's what we want, and then they may adjust smaller details based on that input, right? From everything I've read, that seems to be the general design process. I may be completely wrong, so please correct me if I'm wrong. But that's what I've read.
Also, 5 minutes left.
Oh, yeah. We're running out of time.
So,
to beat our time record. So anyways,
suggestions, chat.
We are now here, so this portion of the stream, you just go ahead and put your guesses and your fake character code names in, and try to stump our host, and see if you can come up with something good. I personally came with nothing good, so it's all on you guys.
That's okay, I've got two.
Okay, well, message me those in the Discord, and I'll compile.
They're in chat.
Okay, let's see here. I can spell this stuff correctly. That would be great.
We have a German character, so everyone starts dumping.
Yeah,
it's German. Which, fair's fair. I think a lot of the Germans do have gratuitously German names.
I mean, after Blue Poison, I can believe anything.
I'm not sure
really
if we've mentioned this on stream. There is an operator whose code name is even more stupid. Rock.
Oh yeah. There is a stupid one on pudding.
You got Mud Rock and Rock.
Yes.
We don't have a Mud though.
All right. No name is too silly.
Yeah.
There's a reason I always described it from the beginning as stupid code names, because they often are.
There's another operator who, it's kind of lampshaded, but she's so lazy that she just used her species name for her code name. Which would be like you or me picking our...
human.
Human.
Yes, human.
Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7. So you're going to have to forgive me with some of these guesses. I don't speak German, so I may not be able to explain them.
That's all right. I don't speak German either.
Okay. Whoops. I have the list.
I speak very little.
I am posting it in the stream. Not the stream, sorry, the Discord. Let's go. Let me make sure I spelled it correctly. I'm going to double check. Looks good to me. All right. There you go.
All right.
Time for the guessing game.
We have Schwarzritter, which means Black Knight. Snow Herald, Black Knight, but in English. Bergeblick, Leash. I don't know what that means. Avalanche. Avalanche.
Oh, I misspelled that one. It's just avalanche.
Avalanche. Degenbrecher, which I think means daybreaker. Doppelhander, which would mean two-handed. Commandant and Grimacht.
We will not give you any hints.
Right,
so please begin the process.
You've already given me the hints. I think I know what it is, but I'll go through the process of elimination a little.
Yeah, show us your thought process.
All right. Because I think based off of the commentary on the swords and her being ambidextrous, I'm inclined to Doppelhander. But let's see. I don't think so, because Black Knight and Schwarzritter both showed up. I don't think it's either of those. Can't remember what Grimacht means. I don't think it's Commandant. It does work for the snow people, but Pramanix already basically meant like for snow. Capiche, Avalanche, Degenbrecher, Doppelhander. I don't think it's Avalanche, because I think they would save Avalanche for like the same group as Mudrock or Rock.
Snow Rock.
Oh, the next Arknights operator, Snow.
Snow. Blue snow. Yellow snow.
I hope it's not the yellow snow. Don't need to chat.
All right. I wish I spoke more German.
Don't we all?
Hang on, if I look up the individual words of these compound words,
Don't.
don't?
Do you want me to provide the definition?
Sure. What is Vergeblich?
Well, according to this German English dictionary, vain, as in VAIN.
Okay. Degenbrecher.
Swordbreaker.
Swordbreaker. Okay. Doppelhander.
Doublehander.
And Grimacht.
I think that's just a proper name.
Okay. All right, let's take another look at her swords here. I got it. Here we go. Drag them over to where I can see them. Of course, she has both a Doppelhander and some Degenbrechers.
I think the big one's is Zweihander, but you know.
It's the same.
Double-hander, two-hander.
Yep.
All right. Which names have the best name ring to them? Vergeblich, Degenbrecher, Doppelhander, Grimacht. Don't think it's Vergeblich. Let's see. So she has both types of swords. She's wielding the Degenbrechers in the E2 art. She's got the Doppelhander sheathed in both arts. And there's Grimacht. Or Martel, are you trying to trick me?
When has he ever done that?
All right, we're running out of time.
I merely provided the translation.
We'll go with Degenbrecher.
Is that your final answer?
Final answer.
Well, shit, chat. We gotta give him one, don't we? Sometimes.
All right.
He got it right.
This is Degenbrecher the Black Knight. Codename Degenbrecher.
She is the Black Knight.
Which, if you've been paying attention, is a pretty big giveaway to her backstory.
This is a complicated one, and she's got her hands in a lot of pies, so to speak.
It's the reason I thought it was so funny. You got the aristocratic vibe off of her. It's a marketing ploy. She's a German gutter snipe.
Yep.
It worked.
And
it worked. Double her estates.
And then she went to the cyberpunk horse knight arena.
Yeah, she actually was the triple champion of the Kashimish Grand. What do they call it? The Grand Knight.
Grand
Whatever that's called.
Something.
So
she's pretty badass.
She stirs sugar into her tea and licks the spoon.
Yeah. They tried to assassinate her, and it just pissed her off.
Yeah, they wanted her to take a dive because, the same person winning too many times isn't as good television. She said no and won anyway.
Yes. Actually, them trying to get her to take the dive pissed her off, and so she went and won the third one just to, say, fuck you, government.
Yeah.
This is a fun character. She's been around for a long time.
She doesn't even like using the two-hander sword. That was also a marketing ploy. The Degenbrecher, or Swordbreaker, is actually a bit of a mishmash here, because there is such a thing as a sword breaker in the European tradition, but it's a dagger with slots on the back to catch the blade, basically. What she uses is actually the Chinese sword breaker, which is basically just a club. Yeah.
It's this weird, they kind of stuck them together. It ends up being a little bit of both.
Here, I can look up the word now. Oh, yeah. Arknights is the very first result, followed by...
this is why we told you not to Google it.
Yep.
Oh, that's a cool looking weapon, though. Der Degenbrecher ist ein freundlicher Paradox der... Need to work on the German accents. Something about the Klingenfahrer. Lantern shield. Jihan.
Is it Jian or is it John? I can't Chinese, so
John? Probably more like John.
That's what I would think.
Oh yeah, I can see where they kind of got the handguard design from.
Like, they are bladed, but they're kind of more like clubs.
Yeah, they're... Yeah. Backstory is she saw a German gendarme using it for crowd control and thought that it was cool.
Chinese
in her gutter
folklore,
days.
it is known as the gentleman of weapons.
I don't think I would use gentle in the same sentence as character, but, you know.
Considered one of the 4 major weapons along with the staff, spear, and saber.
It's a metal club. Not sure how gentlemanly that is, but then again, the symbol of royalty in Europe is a mace, which is just a club.
By Tai Chi practitioners, although there were no historical Jian types created for Tai Chi. So maybe that's where some of the association comes from.
That's beyond me.
Then the Dao has a disc-shaped handguard. I also like how the way he draws her hair here. It makes it look like she's got a scar running from top to bottom of one side of her face.
Oh, yeah. Just a single strand of hair.
Which, especially because he doesn't actually draw it going over her eye. But you see it extending past her jawline, so you know it is supposed to be hair and not a scar.
Errant strands of hair are a great way to add character to, like, it break up the lines of the face isn't exactly the right word, but it colors it up a bit. It adds a bit of detail without focusing on that it's not like an eye covering bang where that's the thing you notice. It's just
right.
A little bit extra.
So another fun little detail. This is another one of those characters that falls into the category of was a boss. Probably doesn't come as much of a surprise to you.
And you can have so much fun with hair in like a drawn medium, because like in real life this would not look nearly as aesthetic if you had this much hair going everywhere. Like, it would mostly just look messy. Like, loose strands of hair generally don't look cool in real life. But in drawn art, it has a lot of visual interest and it does look cool.
Also, when I said that she plays the straight man to the room of straight men, she's Silver Ash's general and has on multiple occasions carted him and his best friend home after they passed out drunk.
She's the wrangler.
All right. She's the Riza Haka of the group.
Yep. It's like it's almost kind of funny because everybody else is like too smart for their own good and they do like stupid stuff. And she's like, no, you will not do the stupid. I will fix it. So, again, like I said, very similar to Fia Meta. She plays the exact same role of being the wrangler.
Only she actually kind of likes working for Silver Ash because he's smart and competent enough that she doesn't have to clean up after his messes.
And largely pretty chill, because once you've been working for like Polish esports for too long, and like I said, match fixing,
Cyberpunk dystopia.
It's a bad time. So she's like, wow, this is like, I get paid better and it's an easier job. So,
and no one's trying to actively kill me 24/7.
My boss knows what he's doing.
Like, he just like wanders around town and like, eats, helps the villagers with their nonsense, and has a pretty chill life. And I would think that after having been through so much, that might be kind of appealing.
To give you an idea of her, just does not suffer fools gladly, wants to do the jobness. The Polish horse arena knights basically have baseball cards that they issue every season for the knights.
Is this the same arena that Flametail fights in?
Flametail fights there. Margaret
and also the
did.
Radiant Knights. Margaret. Yep.
And Weiji
all
used to do that back in the day.
Cards canonically have only one photo because she only posed for one photo and then refused to pose for any more afterwards.
Yep. She doesn't like the media, which is a massively positive character trait in anybody, right?
Doesn't like media, hates advertisers.
Doesn't want to update the photograph.
It's a very open-ended question. If her and Margaret were to slug it out, who would win? I don't know.
I feel like, based off what you... Or wait, or am I confusing characters now? No, based off what you told me, I think she probably has better tactical sense than Margaret.
It's hard to say. Margaret's got better magic, but it's hard to say.
Oh yeah,
like,
also...
You really couldn't say one way or another.
Also, this girl can't use magic at all.
Oh, yeah.
Like, nothing special.
Zero int build.
Congenitally incapable of using it at all.
Muscle wizard.
She's not immune to magic, by the way. It's not one of those deals. She just can't use it at all.
It's one of those weird things, too. It's like, without knowing more of the setting, it's like, inability to use any kind of magic whatsoever is considered a disability. So it's like, it's super, super, super unusual. Like, this just doesn't happen normally.
So like, everyone else she's fighting in the arena then, like, magic is...
Oh, yeah, they've got all kinds of wacky spells. Even Flametail has, like, sort of...
And so she's won 3 times
everything.
Just on written skill and muscle.
Yep. No fancy nonsense. Everyone has a plan and a spell until they get punched in the face, right?
Yep.
I look forward to meeting this character in game.
You're gonna enjoy it, I think. Every time she's on screen, it's just pure gold.
Especially in the stories that she shows up in tend to be a bit more lighthearted.
Really?
Yeah. The characters
surprisingly.
Yeah. Also, the characters are just really funny. All of them. The squirrels.
I will say that the ride to Lake Silverzine was one of my favorite stories in the last year. It was just freaking hilarious.
Great.
Like, they don't often do straight up almost comedy events, but that was a good one. The squirrels are great. Everybody's great. Keurig is one of my favorite places. Everyone is kind of an idiot, but they're just very entertaining. You could make an anime off of that, and it would top the season chart. I can't take notes, Hypergriff.
I would say that for most of the Arknights stories, except I've watched the actual Arknights anime, and it was just kind of...
Well, it's... Okay, like I said, the studio itself, they're new. It was very okay.
Well, that's my problem. I don't have anything to say about it, good or bad, really.
It's just a retelling of the first couple chapters of the main story, so it exists.
As an adaptation,
it's fine.
It's definitely better than the Persona 5 anime.
Oh god, oh. Like I said, the reason I say fine is because they didn't, excuse my French, they just didn't cock it up like a lot of adaptations do.
Okay,
they did a very okay job.
It wasn't Ufotable level of like doing an
No, it's
awesome
like there's
job
nothing
with
bad,
it
but
and
there's
like
nothing special
doing,
about it either.
yeah, like ufotable adapting it would be awesome. Like giving it
Yeah.
the Fate Zero
It
treatment.
it definitely
It's-
needs something on that level of quality, but yeah, they like I said, it's very okay. There's just nothing remarkable to say about the Arknights anime.
Yeah, it was
We'll
an
wait
anime
and
retelling of
see
the first.
what season 3 is and see if they're getting better or not. I don't know. But
Yeah.
like I said, it's a new studio, so relatively new. The only thing they'd done other than that was like an Azure Lane adaptation. So
That was the same studio.
yeah.
Oof.
So like I said, they're pretty new.
Basically, my problem is that, and again, I got nothing out of the anime that I didn't already get from the visual novel part of the game.
Yeah, it just does it faster. That's about the only thing.
Yeah.
Wait, the anime does it faster than reading?
Yes.
You don't know how much text there
Oh
is.
yes, it does. Oh, it's so much faster. Um.
Okay, Miliardo, to give you an idea, I have lately taken to playing through all of the missions in an event and skipping through the story and then going back and reading the story at my leisure.
Okay, so if I stream this game, like, I'm gonna have to choose whether it's like I react to the story live or if it's just like, let's just play the game and I'll.
It depends on the event. Some are a lot longer than others. So
Read this novel and then you can play the next level.
it's back and forth. Like some are like that, some are different.
I have had sometimes I've had 20 minutes of reading before I get to the actual
if
stage.
they gave us like a length estimate before we play the stage, I would actually probably behave differently. But I read everything before I play the stage, and yeah, sometimes it's really long.
You know how fast I read.
Oh, me too. We're all like a bunch of fast readers, but yeah, no. So that people have made that criticism before. It's like I don't know. I'm back and forth on it. I think generally speaking, people
Not
still like to
criticism.
read these days. So yeah,
And for me, the choice is because the emulator I use on my PC has a habit of crashing unexpectedly. So, skip the story, play the mission, maybe have to restart the emulator 5 or so times, and then I can go back later and read it.
Yeah. Lone Trail would be the one I think would be very good for like an anime adaptation or Near Light. I really hope they do Near Light, and there's like a couple I've got on my list. We could talk about this some other time as well, but
the animation that they do, though, like the Zwillingsstürme in Herbst.
Oh, the 3D animation. Yeah. They did a 15-minute long, like, W-focused, like, animated thing with, like, it's got, like, no dialogue until, like, the last 30 seconds.
And it was good.
That was awesome. I'm like, that is better than anything Riot shits out these days. Again, forget my French. But, like, it shows that they've got potential. I think that the 3D animation team, and it's not the same as the anime team, by the way. I think the 3D animation team they've gotten some serious talent together, and they're really starting to figure out how they do stuff. We may take a look at some of them at some point, but yeah, it's quite good. That's all I'll say.
One guy I was reading yesterday live in 4 hours. He did the first stage.
Okay, it wasn't that long, but
is he one of those guys that struggles to spell out a cat sat on the mat?
Like it was long, but it wasn't that long.
Wait, first stage or first chapter?
First stage.
Oh.
I might buy that if it was like the entire chapter.
Yeah.
But the first stage is,
Once you actually get to like a gameplay level, like how long does that take to clear?
Depends.
Tends to be 5. Oh, he voice acted it. Okay, that explains things.
So there's
general stages can be like 2 to 5 minutes.
Okay, but they also have this sanity mechanic, and they let you do practice runs. So sometimes it can take a lot longer if you're struggling with actually beating the level.
Generally speaking, it's like 80% of the time spent is probably on the boss stage.
Usually.
So again, it varies event by event. But yeah.
Most recent event was actually pretty good, like level design wise, I think.
The longer I
Are
look
you
at this art,
talking the rice farming one or the one before that?
Rice farming.
Okay. I haven't finished the last stage because I've been busy at work. So it only started on Wednesday. Forgive me. It's only been 2 days.
the longer I stare at this art, the more I'm appreciating like how the artist is varying up the like the line thickness and stuff to give a sense of depth to the piece.
Does a really good job with the eyes, I think.
Yeah. The eyes and like the way the hair shape's broken up too. Like I'm realizing like as I look at it, like my brain keeps kind of like templating like different like basic geometric shapes to the head and the hair, which is really like how do I put this? It's like I'm like looking at it like kind of like thinking about it one way, and then like it's like a slight perspective shift, and then I'm kind of like seeing it a different way, if that makes sense. Like I don't
I
know, like it's
think
like
I know what you mean.
the face looks a little so like before I was kind of looking at it as like, all right, she's got like a big old like head of hair here, and then my brain was starting to go like kind of thinking more about just like kind of the forward portion of her hair around her face, and then with like everything else behind it, where it's like, okay, she actually looked kind of like saber-like when you look at her that way.
Hmm.
Um,
Oh, here's a fun question. This might totally derail it. Do you think you could make a good VTuber model off of this character?
oh, absolutely.
I mean, so here's something. It looks like 80% of the detail in the face is in the eyes.
Yeah.
It's
Hey, at least she has a
just-
nose.
the mouth and the nose are basically just there to let you know that she has a mouth and a nose.
Mm.
And then it's all eyes, which actually do have quite a bit of detail.
Hmm. Here, let's enhance the
They're very,
eyes.
very, very piercing.
And the thickness on top, vice the bottom, makes that it's that heavy lidded glare.
Hmm. Yeah, you can
You
see
can even see like
he's
a line or two
drawn
on her
in.
neck.
He's drawn in the epicanthic fold here.
So here's a thought. Notice how the shirt and the jacket and stuff she's wearing, this is stuff that you kind of put on over your shoulders and button up.
Yeah.
Not something you put over your head.
Ah, yeah. Yeah, it's something practical for someone with giant goat horns to put on.
Like you're not putting on a tank top with this, I don't think.
No, you can. You just
Well, with
you
great
step
effort and
no,
pain.
like you step into it and then pull it up, and then stick your arms through the straps.
So okay, what I'm saying is you wouldn't do it easily.
It's not that difficult.
Oh, okay. I will defer to your greater experience. I've never done that myself, so
Yeah, you can. Yeah, you can step if you can't get things over your head. You can just step into them and then pull them up your body.
I guess all my shirts just have like normal neck widths. It's just
Comment
if I
from
stepped on the neck,
I've not
I
done
would-
this myself. I've just witnessed it done.
comment
I see.
from Ryushiro Kazuhira. The focus on the eyes and characters has always been a huge thing in the Asian countries, partly why anime characters have huge eyes. I'd also heard that a big reason for the anime characters with large eyes was because it's easier to convey emotion while on a tight animation budget using eyes.
I'd also heard it was from Japanese theater tradition, where the actors and actresses would shave their eyebrows and then paint them on higher up on their head to achieve a similar effect. So it makes their eyes look bigger. So on stage, it's easier to get the emotions across.
Makes sense.
did notice when I was working at the art museum that like more so with artists like Hayao Miyazaki, who kind of draws a more like less exaggerated eye. But like at a certain point with like some of the classical paintings and stuff, like the difference between like a Miyazaki style anime eye and like a nicely detailed and shiny, like realistically painted eye, like the line starts to become super thin.
It's and with art, there's always a gradient between expressionism and realism, like conveying the object as it is, vice the object as perceived, the informational density of the medium.
Like here's a good
And I think that ever since photography was invented, we've been moving away from paintings being completely realistic in favor of paintings attempting to convey some deeper truth.
Mhm.
In
I
other
can see
words,
that.
the future of illustration is anime.
Yeah,
TLDR.
Well, I certainly think that the future of good movies is animation.
And like I hate the idea that like because photography's around, like I hate the idea that people think of photorealism as being like the most accurate way of portraying something, because it's like you're capturing in a two-dimensional format, you're capturing three-dimensional light bouncing off of subject uh of your photograph, but like you're not capturing any other information, whereas in art all the like exaggerations and like moving more into like expressionism versus realism is like it can be more accurate than a photograph and actually capturing like what it is like to be in the presence of the subject of the piece.
Realism is the trap modern video games have fallen into.
Yeah, thanks, Square.
Like
Sorry.
exaggerating the eye size to better capture the expression can be more accurate to what it's actually like to have somebody like looking at you like this than if you just took a photograph.
Yep.
Yeah, I'd largely agree with that.
Here's an example of the anime eye in classical painting. This was a piece we had at the art museum.
When was this? What was this painted?
Let's see. The Harp of Aaron painting.
Yeah, there's a
It's
certain-
a cropped version of the painting, but she's supposed to be a metaphorical representation of Ireland, hence why she's chained to a rock.
I
Oh,
thought it
she got the harp.
What's
The green.
the girl who is chained to a rock in Greek mythology to be eaten by a sea
Andromeda.
monster? Andromeda, that's the one.
I was gonna say Prometheus. I'm like, wasn't he chained to a rock?
This was
Yes,
painted
but it wasn't a
by
girl.
Thomas Buchanan Reed in 1867.
Okay.
That would
Vintage.
explain the green and the harp and the orange hair.
Yeah, I wrote one of my art history class papers was on this painting.
I'll never
I
forgive
don't see
the
like
Irish
the
for
British menacing in the background.
I will never forgive the Irish for what they did after they got their independence.
And then Guinness.
They could have had a nice flag with a green background and a golden harp, but instead they chose a tricolor.
Sorry, I'm used to the Irish flag from Europa Universalis 4.
My
What's the
point
correct
exactly.
one? It's the correct flag. Oh no. You're right. They were-
Traditionally, the Irish.
I forgot
symbol.
they have a tricolor. Oh no. Oh no, Ireland. This is a bad look.
No,
That's an
they
L for
chose a
Ireland.
tricolor.
That
Yeah,
is an L for Ireland.
and
Sorry,
not
Irish.
a good tricolor. They chose an ugly tricolor.
I'm insulting about 8% of my ancestry right here, but you know.
Hey, they could have chosen a better flag.
They could have
Dude.
chosen any flag.
The harp looks so much better.
Why can't we have something nice like a harp?
I don't let us start chat about the whole tricolor thing. I think we all collectively hate tricolors. Am I correct in saying that?
We need to
Yes.
do a flag analysis stream
We will.
Where
We
we
will do a flag
where we
analysis.
just
stream.
hate on tricolors.
We just have a separate tier for tricolor.
Triple F.
Freaking. It's like when I think that it was a state visit by the German chancellor to some country, and they had hung the flag vertically, which changed the vertical stripes of the German flag to horizontal stripes, which is the flag of Belgium. See also France and the Netherlands.
See, isn't Italy's flag just like the colors of a pizza?
It's the Mexican flag, only without a little symbol in the middle.
Yeah.
That symbol does elevate that flag.
Barely.
Imagine if
Too busy. It looks like a blob.
It's too small to work. They should have made the eagle the whole thing.
It is a sweet coat of arms when you can like zoom in on it.
Okay, as a coat of arms, yes, but the whole point of a flag is that it originated as a battle standard, which means that you have to be able to look across the dust and chaos of a battlefield, see it flapping in the breeze, and know, oh, that's Lord So-and-so. I'm supposed to be fighting my way over to him.
Or like, that's us. Don't shoot them.
Like the Swedish royal insignia, which is just a golden lion standing rampant on a blue background. Simple, easy to tell. Big symbol. Very clear.
Oh, they still okay. They don't have the line on their flag, but they do have a cross.
The Nordic cross is a good design. Better than a tricolor.
I still love how when they had to redesign the Japanese naval ensign, the designers just came back with the original one and were like, "This was peak. We cannot improve on this. So here you go."
Is it the rising sun?
It's the rising sun with like all the rays coming out of it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that was a good design. As it currently stands, it's just kind of meh. However, even stupider than a tricolor are the 3 countries with bicolors.
Who are they?
Ukraine, Poland, and Indonesia. And
the
I will note that
Poland.
the Polish and
We had
the
such a better flag.
the
Oh,
Polish
this is
and
so good.
Indonesian flags, by the way, are the exact same flag but flipped upside down.
Dude, they're the better one. Why did they not go back to the royal one?
Are you saying
And
I
then
can
the
turn
Ukrainian
my
flag is literally just the landscape when you're standing in Ukraine. It's a yellow field of grain and a blue sky, which funnily enough also makes it a valid state flag for half the US.
Okay, we used to have better state flags. They started making all of them bad in the last 20 years.
It's this corporate design
Google
thing.
it, look it up. It's actually true. They've been changing a lot of state flags.
Oh, I know.
You're
Heck, they
saying is I
recently
could turn
changed the
my
Minnesota state flag.
I could turn my Polish military surplus jacket into an Indonesian military surplus jacket if I just flip the patch on it upside down.
Yes.
Poland had the perfect flag, and it was the eagle on the red.
I see that we actually
Just
have
do
a
it!
Ukrainian in here, by the way.
I'm sorry. I feel bad for your guys' flag.
Look, I'm sorry, but your flag is literally just the landscape of Ukraine. It's a field of grain with a
Grain
blue
and
sky.
then a blue sky. There you go. I mean, you could call it poetic in its simplicity or stupid, but I don't know.
There is such a thing as too simple, though.
I won't throw shade. I'll let you guys determine whether you think it's great or terrible.
Okay, recently
Oh,
I've seen a Ukrainian flag with that the triangle symbol worked out in alternating yellow and blue, depending on
Okay, that one looks better.
that one is actually okay. That has a symbol in there. It's not so much the 3 color. Oh, well, okay, tricolors are always bad no matter what. But
Oh yeah, that
2
looks
color
pretty
or
cool.
3 color or 4 color isn't bad as long as you've at least got a recognizable symbol on it.
I think if we were to put a point as for flag design, perhaps that's the next stream. Like, make them not a tricolor. That's the first sin. The second sin is making it a bicolor. The third sin is making it boring. Sorry, Poland.
Fourth sin is having the exact same flag as someone else.
Oh yeah, the fourth sin is just copying the American or British flags and just throwing some extra garbage on it. Because there's a lot of that.
Good. Like,
yes, but
St. Andrew's Cross, St. George's Cross it's unique.
You got to do a bit more. Come on, Australia. Come on, New Zealand. Do a little more with it. I think I like the blue stars, or the stars in the blue background. That's good, but still.
Oh, you're thinking of the Commonwealth countries.
Yeah, I think of Commonwealth.
Okay, yeah, They,
just stick
like
a small
I would love to see
flag in
everybody
the
go back
corner
to. Yeah,
and then you've got the Chinese flag, which is just the Soviet flag, but without the hammer and sickle.
they weren't even trying with that one. They literally weren't even trying.
They are in dire need of mechanization.
Indeed. Like, we got to go back to more coats of arms. Like, Russia needs to change theirs back to the imperial flag. Like, that just looks so much better.
The gold background with the black eagle.
Hell yeah.
Well, okay, yes. As it currently stands, they are 190-degree turn away from being the flag of Serbia. Again,
nobody wants to be Serbia.
Let's not go there.
Oh shoot!
Well, okay, if they're ruining the balance of Helldivers 2, I will throw shade. Okay.
Dude,
the Welsh flag. The Welsh flag is actually good.
The Chinese flag of the Qing Dynasty, the 1890s Chinese flag, looks sweet.
Okay, the one with the dragon.
The Qing had a good flag. Heck, the Ming had a pretty good flag.
I also can't help but wonder if there's supposed to be some symbolism here of the dragon menacing a bright red circular sun.
I wonder. Cough, cough.
Whatever could they mean by that?
Do you think they were thinking of that symbolism back then?
Actually, so this might be a controversial take.
Probably, because I think Japan would have taken Okinawa from them recently. In the 1800s.
I actually don't mind either of the Korean flags.
Oh no, I think they're both fine. They're both very serviceable. You've got South Korea, then you've got Best Korea. It's they're both fine.
Again, let's not go there. But South Korea.
I'm just being.
South Korea has a bonus of being very distinct. No one is ever going to mistake the South Korean flag for anything else.
True.
Kind of like the Stars and Stripes. No one's ever going to think that's anything but the American flag.
As much as I hate to say this, I have to give credit to the Canadians for having a leaf, because, it's dumb enough to be distinct.
Again, the gold standard for a flag is, would this make for a workable battle standard? Simple, distinct, recognizable at a glance. Much like video game designs, actually.
Like DEGENBRECHER. You will not mistake her for anyone else, I promise.
Do we have the chibis for her?
We do. Go ahead and bring forth the small animated figures that are marketable.
And put them on loop.
Also, it's a crime they haven't made a scale figure of her yet. I don't know what's taking so long.
Oh, I like the sword spin.
So, you guessed her gameplay pretty well. Her class is...
It's just called the Swordmaster. She stab. She stab good.
Yep.
Also, she's 6 feet tall. Just in case you're curious.
She is 5'9".
No, she's 71.5 inches. That's 6 feet almost.
5'9" is an excellent height.
5'9" is 69 inches. She is 71.5. I just linked the wiki.
Hang on.
I'm like half an inch taller than her.
DEGENBRECHER, height 182 centimeters. That is 5'9".
No, it's not. It's 71.5 inches.
Yes, That's 5'9".
No, 5 feet is 60 inches. That's
Weird.
almost 12.
182 centimeters, 5.9 feet.
Oh. Wow, I can't read tonight. Okay.
Yeah, like I was saying, it's like 5. Yeah.
Okay, so she is in fact 6 foot tall. Yep, I am wrong on that one.
I like the sword spin.
It's
and
funny
the
because
sword
I'm
swing.
usually the one that gets the heights wrong. I'm like, this character is 6'7".
I mean, 5'7". Hey, it's when it's a flat number. It works.
Yeah. I triple checked it to make sure I wasn't full of crap.
So so what she does in game, her class is called Swordmaster, which means that every normal attack hits twice.
Mm. Nice.
Her first talent, which is Born Warrior, is, I think, the first time we've seen this mechanic. She has a chance to boost her attack and frighten the target.
Yeah, it's a
And
new
when-
status effect.
Yeah, and when the target is frightened, they can't perform normal attacks.
So she kind of just
Tears them down.
disables enemy auto attacks, which is pretty
She's
strong.
so intimidating, they lose the will to fight. This is
That's
both
scary.
canonical and reflected in the mechanics of the game.
Scary giant lady.
So then you like park her next to something that you're trying to protect. Like
You
park
put her on the
next-
front
park
line and
her
have her
next
kill
to your
everything when it comes
glass
up. That's
cannon
it.
or- wow.
Not even glass, just cannon.
She's tanky.
She's
No, I'm
in the
saying
same class
you
as
put her,
Irene.
do you put her next to your glass cannons to disable enemies from attacking them, or do you just accomplish
You could do
by
that, yeah.
killing everything?
There is. So actually, the game mechanic there's this game mechanic where enemies will always target the unit which was placed down most recently within their range.
Okay.
Poor game mechanic, by the way.
It's actually very important.
We'll get to that later, but yes, you usually try to deploy her last. But if you don't, well, she can still shut people down. So,
It's a puzzle.
I like puzzle games.
Order of
Ultimately,
deployment is very
tower
important,
defense is
though.
a puzzle.
The Arknights is a subset of a puzzle game. Yeah, there's taunt stuff too. There's a few things that can modify target priority, both for you and the enemies. They do play with the mechanic a lot.
Chapter 8 is where they really introduce the target
Chapter 8. I hope you have everyone's favorite prairie dog throw at the problem.
One of her
Slash
tags
rat.
is nuker, and that tells you everything. One
Yep.
jump scare.
Generally speaking, press button, she kills everything that is in her range. It's one of those situations where it's like they have this like hyped up character and she actually performs.
Hmm.
And these days, if it's a 6-star, it's going to murder.
That's kind of just how it works. 6 stars are just overpowered. It's like playing Elden Ring with a Mimic tier.
Yep.
Not that I know from experience, but
I need to go get some more water. I'll be right back.
Yep. So she's real strong.
Hmm.
So
I do love.
I don't know. I guess that's about all I have to say.
the one-handed Zweihander.
I imagine she goes to the gym.
Which a while back we were talking about Scotty's sword animation.
Yeah.
And the massive follow through, and
Scotty has 0 finesse.
now that I've been using longsword again, I'm like, yeah, it's pretty hard to if you put a lot of oomph into a swing, it takes a lot to arrest the weapon and bring it back.
Well, Scotty's not really fighting with a sword. She's golfing.
Defense doesn't matter if you just hit it a bunch real hard. That is how I like to play some of these games. Like, I don't
Ice
need
cream
my hit
girl.
points if you're never able to hit me. That's why I like playing Black and Magic. The only life point that matters is the last one. Everything else is a resource.
I'm kind of like in the Channel Fireball vein, That is like OG set though. It's like Black Lotus, Channel Fireball, Lightning Bolt, Win.
I would always enjoy when we were drafting from Cube, if I could force junk, I would like to build junk decks. Or what they call it Abzan now. Do they still call it Abzan? I don't know. White, black, green. White, black, green was my favorite color combo.
So I was kind of one of those like really cancerous red blue people, but that's
Red blue is super fun. That was I still have a really
it's fun
red
for
blue
me.
deck I put together with Nivik Cyclops that I think on turn 4 I could swing for lethal with an unblockable Nivik Cyclops. The problem was in the format at the time, turn 3 Hero's Downfall would hit and kill my Nivik Cyclops.
Magic's a fun thing.
It
But
was way too overdue.
But yeah, so I think we've it is pretty cancerous right now, that's for sure.
All right,
it's funny because also Yu-Gi-Oh also sucks these days, from what I hear.
Yu-Gi-Oh is like a performance art these days, which I sort of admire, even though I think it's probably really bad for the health of the game. But like the amount of complexity of the interactions now is like it's just like I'm just watching an artist like doing magic tricks with cards by his understanding of all the rules interactions.
Most games end on turn 1 before the opponent gets their first turn. So that should tell you a lot. But yeah, I think we've kind of
waiting for your opponent to misplay.
Did DEGENBRECHER beat time record? No, we were at almost 2 hours. Actually, she's approaching Texas time, which is like 2.5. So, also we did get super sidetracked on like flags and other stuff. So, but it's not all DEGENBRECHER.
If any character deserves it so far, she's been one of them.
I think I can tell she's going in your S tier on the eventual tier list ranking. Playland evoke grief.
So here's an interesting aesthetic discussion question where Martel's not back yet, is he?
Not yet.
All right. Actually, hang on. I'm gonna go take a bio break real quick.
Oh, they're taking.
When he gets back,
it's just you and me, chat.
When he gets back, we'll continue the. I had a point I wanted to bring up before we moved on from Goat.
Hold that thought. So, anyways, chat, how are you guys doing? You guys having a good weekend or week? It's not the week. It is the weekend for me now. Finally. Yes. Yeah. Hi. See, usually this is the point where I would like bring up my own silly jokes and memes, but I'm not actually in control of the stream. I'm a Discord call, so I can't do that. Did anybody get their good rolls? Did you guys get your good rolls this time? I haven't used it. I just used the free rolls so far. So I'm waiting and seeing what comes out of the free rolls first before I throw anything. Let's see. Oh, got Zuo, the sword. The sword fella looks interesting. I actually have no idea what he does at all. I never looked it up. I just know he's apparently good. He's like base grandpa, right? Just gotta work before stopping in. Golfing 18 holes. Well, I hope you enjoy the 18 holes. That's Art News. Yeah, we saw the cat with the hammer this week, didn't we? Or was that last week? Oh, there's been a lot of stuff coming out, hasn't there? It's the weekend, 2 weeks vacation. I like it. I wish you luck. I wish I had a 2-week vacation. Looking for Shu in the free polls. Very, very good. Saving up. Good Musha. Okay, well, that's about what I heard. Apparently he's good. I don't know what he does. 22 polls for Shu. Very nice. You both in 40. Lock, I am jealous. That's usually not what I get. I usually have to do like 60 to 80. Dude, when I was rolling for Kelsey back in Undertides, that was like 140, and I think I got Irene on 180. It was awful. Also, I made the questionable decision to go for Max Pot Texas last year, and I used 350 rolls for that, thereabouts. But now I have a Max Pot Texas, so, don't at me, okay? Let's see, what else we got here?
Question then. Should I start an account on the game, not play anything, but just do my daily polls now?
You have to progress slightly before you can start doing that.
Hmm.
So there's an element of yes, and there's an element of like wait, because there will be more free stuff coming.
Hmm.
It's I don't know. I guess I don't know what to tell you, because if you want to do whenever you finally start playing the game is kind of when the blind reaction series comes to an end, and that's totally up to you. We let me this way. I think we have like 2 to 4 more episodes in it before we kind of exhaust the format, and then it becomes not blind but other stuff, right? So we can start talking about the writing as well as just the artist side of the equation.
Get the anniversary rewards.
You would get the anniversary stuff if you started now. They give you a ton of free garbage because we started on Wednesday, was the 4.5 years.
Hmm.
So it's the half anniversary, right? They always give you more stuff there. So I don't know what to tell you. Like, I don't know what to tell you. Basically, like yes, it gives you more garbage, but you will eventually get it anyways. So it's not like it's a rush, but I don't know.
Hmm. All right. Martel, are you there?
Yep.
All right,
He's back.
cool.
Wonderful. Sorry, I was entertaining chat. We were having a nice discussion here.
All right, so
Apparently, Symbol had some very good rolls on this last banner, and congratulations. I didn't. So,
all right. So here's my question for the panel then, that will kind of segue into our the stream topic. Why is it that a military uniform designed at roughly the turn of the century, I guess the design elements predated, but why is it that a military uniform developed at that particular period in time for men can be so easily tailored and modified to look awesome on women?
Goes off the lines.
more or less that. I think it's
You just change the cut to
quite
emphasize
literally
which line.
fits well. Yeah.
It's simultaneously modest and alluring in that it shows off the shape of the body without actually exposing it, which leaves you wanting more.
It's a hard place. It's a hard medium to be at, isn't it?
Yep.
And it also has a formal, classy element to it.
Yep. Yeah, it's... Okay, now we're getting to a whole section about female sexuality, male sexuality, and the interaction thereof, but from the male perspective, how do I put this? From the male perspective, just taking off all the clothing isn't actually the hottest that things could be.
I would tend to agree with that, yes.
Because that...
Mystique is gone.
Yep.
There was a... if you ever read Wheel of Time, there was a particular villain that actually said basically exactly that. Was basically... excuse my French, but nudity lacks subtlety, and so...
Yes.
You kind of lose the whole... a lot of it with that. It's the way that this is actually a thing that, especially with gacha games these days, because so many of them, and don't worry, I'm not trying to start a flame war here, chat. So forgive me.
How much clothing can we take off without it technically being nudity?
Without it technically being pornography, yeah. It kind of it's an arms race.
Twitch rules.
This is the same thing with VTuber character design. It's an arms race to the bottom.
And
so
the thing is, there's also
literally actually,
but there's also a definite bottom because you can't get more naked than naked. Once you've taken all of the clothes off, what's left?
Now you gotta start doing VTuber designs with no skin, then one where it's just skeleton and organs.
That's an entirely different subject. But But
eventually, chat, we may
Really,
do a tier list of
the
YouTuber designs.
hottest live 2D is just someone invisible.
the Nazgul
It's like that girl from.
waifu.
It's that chick from My Hero Academia. You can see like the indent of her pants, but you actually can't see her. It's like I can imagine what's there, but I can't see it, and that just makes it that much more interesting, doesn't it?
Here's the thing: the human imagination is incredibly active and incredibly powerful. Use it. It's like I'm sure we've all been there. There's something that we're anticipating, some movie or game or a treat that we saw in the candy store when we were a really young kid. And we build up this mental image of it and what it's going to be like when we finally get it, and then we get it and it's a disappointment. Right? We've all been there, right?
Absolutely.
Nudity is kind of like that.
In some ways.
Like,
so we're getting a little real here, chat. I hope you're ready.
welcome to a standard Friday night conversation with us.
You guys haven't played Helldivers with us on private chat. You will never, by the way. But just,
Yeah, it's unhinged.
Unhinged is putting it lightly.
Forget the hinges. We've simply removed the doors altogether.
If they just wanted surface level analysis of things, they'd be in some other stream.
Good point.
So we're going deep. No euphemisms. I'm sorry,
but
right. Nudity is a crutch.
that's probably the way to put it. That's a good way to put it.
Nudity is the nuclear option.
Like
you don't just throw it out there.
It's like trying to brute force a problem.
Yep. Which is why from the male perspective, ultimately the ideal female outfit also, yes, that meme is accurate, but from the male perspective, the ideal female outfit is one which simultaneously reveals enough of the form to show off that it is in fact female and a very nice form. And let's face it, men have the entire history of the human race acting as evolutionary pressure to predispose them to like the female form, so it's kind of low-hanging fruit.
Yeah.
But also conceals enough that, one, it doesn't come across as slutty, because while men may engage the services of a harlot, they don't typically want to marry one.
I would call that a good generalization.
This meme is something.
I think chat might appreciate that. You should put that up.
Don't start with the philosophy. I am a philosopher. You can't stop me.
Welcome to Friday Night Helldivers chat.
Yeah, if you want an idea of our chat, picture this conversation interspersed with 1,000-pound bomb incoming.
It's like, oh, I just raided that base. I hope you're not there.
What I think is
Spoiler alert, we were there. Oh, here's a good one. Treading the fine line of eroticism and elegance.
True.
Yeah, that's a good
point.
way to sum it up.
I don't even know.
Who said that?
I don't know how to say that. Doot.
It looks like some sort of Eastern
Are you Danish?
European.
That looks Danish to me.
That looks Eastern European.
Well, no, I'm seeing like the dash to the D.
Right, that's
a weird character.
That's not a Danish thing, isn't it?
Is it? I thought it was. I thought it was them Nordics who did the weird, funny spelling. Them and the Germans.
No, they're the ones with the circle above the A, and the dash through an
like umlauts.
Slash through an O.
Well, no, that's the Germans who do umlauts.
The Germans do the umlauts.
Southeast Asian. Okay.
Southeast Asian. Okay.
Yeah, I would never have guessed. Well, welcome, anyways. The opposite of Danes. Instead of being Northwest Europe, Southeast Asia. Aren't you guys on opposite sides of the planet? I think you are. So there you go.
Kind of. But, yeah, so actually, DEGENBRECHER's outfit, and actually, most of the Arknights outfits, like the Penguin Logistics outfits for Texas and Exusii, show off without showing too much.
Well, it leaves room for artist interpretation as well. It's like you can sort of, shall we say, change things up a bit.
KFP Reactor Opera says, no, the most German thing is this, and then the
Schlaus. Oh,
the funny letter that looks like a B but is pronounced as a double S.
Yeah, I like that's a funny one. Is there a name for that? What's the actual word for that letter? I think it's hilarious. This is why I think German's so funny. I want to learn it someday.
It's a very musical language. I keep saying there's a reason why all the great operas are either written in German or Italian.
Is that
a Zet?
Zet or sorry, listen to a bunch of Americans butcher your language. I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry at the same time.
Set.
It's okay.
I think we should bring back the thorn too, instead of the Y. It looks cooler.
So I only know my German from like historical warships or non-historical warships, like the Grosser Kurfürst. Cursed to be on Wargaming's name, but yes.
Good old Freddy.
Remember that game was fun?
Yes.
I remember.
Also,
and then they introduced pay to win in the Puerto Rico.
From what little I've studied of it,
submarines in.
Bahasa is a really interesting language.
Is that what?
Wait.
West Africa?
Indonesia.
Oh, Bahasa.
Yeah. Oh, I thought you said Lhasa. Okay. Well, I thought you said a different thing.
Because I was on a kick at one point where I was just like messing around with a bunch of stuff on Duolingo. And so I'm doing Indonesian and I'm like, all right, this word sounds almost like the Japanese word for the same thing. And then I was also messing around with some Turkish, and then I was like, hang on, this other Indonesian word almost sounds like the Turkish word for this thing. So it feels almost like the English of Southeast Asia.
I mean, there was that period in the 15 to 1600s where the Ottomans actually sent a bunch of missionaries to Indonesia. Probably couldn't conquer it on account of Persia being in the way, but hey.
It was a long ways away.
Realistically, you're not going to conquer a major empire in the era before the telegraph and railroad. Administrative friction is going to prevent it from actually being large.
And you gotta have big enough, fast enough boats. The Suez also helps.
Maritime empires are also important, yeah. Thalassocrates. Ooh, funny bit about, Mayan.
Nope.
Influential American naval officer argued that Thalassocrates...
Oh, Alfred Thayan. Yeah.
Yeah.
That guy.
He actually was tasked by the Department of the Navy when he was still an officer with drawing up war plans to fight the British Royal Navy in 1885. At the time when every country in the world looked at the task and decided it ain't happening.
Yeah, it's like, give us 20 years and we can do it.
Actually, his plan was both pretty solid and also very similar to the High Seas Fleet plan by Admiral Tirpitz.
Hey, Tirpitz was not a moron. I won't want to hear any Tirpitz slander.
No, it was a good.
He was very smart. It's just the Kaiser wasn't, but that's a long story.
No, the problem with the High Seas Fleet plan was, what will you do if they do not come? And he didn't have an answer because there was no answer.
Yeah, I guess he was given an unwinnable task.
Yeah. But no, Mahan's plan was, he figured that a naval war with Britain would be a contest for merchant supremacy over the eastern seaboard of the United States of America, centered around the North Carolina to Maine part of the eastern seaboard.
The eastern seaboard, yeah.
So his plan was keep the American fleet as a fleet in being in New York Harbor, because there are two major exits and entrances that could be used. Force the British to split their fleet up as a blockading force, and also you have the Hudson River to retreat up if things get too hairy. And then use torpedo boats and naval mines to whittle down the blockading forces until one of them is weak enough for a sally, with the aim of either achieving a decisive battle against the Royal Navy or conducting a raid into Halifax and thereby destroying the major English naval base in the Americas.
Little did you know, chat, tuning into this, that you'd be getting naval theory in addition to German goat lady.
So he
With
was,
big swords.
Weird, because
He was
normally
basically
you're the
trying
one who
to-
does naval theory, Squirrel.
What's that?
Normally you're the one who does naval theory, Squirrel.
Well, I was letting you finish. But yes.
it was essentially, the plan was lure the British fleet into laying siege to us, whittle them down, and then
The
sally forth.
1850s was an interesting time because American industrial power wasn't quite to the point where you could directly challenge England. That's like 1905.
80s, actually. Man,
Was it-
was ready in the
sorry,
80s.
1880s. Did I say 1980s? I meant 1880s.
You said
um,
1850s.
Oh, yeah, sorry. I meant 1880 50s, which is halfway through 1880. But yes, yeah. It wasn't quite at the point where you could do a direct industrial challenge. Britain was still ascendant in that time period. But once you got to about 1900, this is the point where British strategic thinking starts to change dramatically because they realize it cannot in perpetuity outproduce America. They've got a rival that's too big to simply overwhelm with industrial power. We can go into that some other day, but
Also reading the
fellow
comment.
Paradox player, yes.
Yes, we are.
How did you figure that out, Mr. Bro? How did you figure that out?
Hi, I'm Martel, and I have a problem.
Hi, I'm Squirrel Fan 69, and I have a problem.
That being said,
I've
Mr.
only played
Squirrel,
1900 hours of EU4.
and yet you still don't know where Provence is.
I know where Provence is now. Shut up. I just thought it was next to Champagne. I didn't think it was next to
Provence
Marseille.
was next to Champagne.
Well, okay, sorry. It's all France. It's all French to me. Okay, so it's like they're like, and they show me their baguettes and stuff. I don't know.
Yeah, and you played Spain, Savoy, how many times? And you
Do you
still
think
don't
I
know
go
where
into?
Provence is?
Well, I don't care what's north of the Pyrenees, Martel. It doesn't matter. It's all vassal. I vassalize everything, anyways. You know.
I mean, speaking as Roman, the Transalpine Gaul is on the other side of the Pyrenees.
Yes, no, it doesn't matter to me. My frontier is the New World. Okay, that's how I play that game. It's like if you're
Man.
playing as Spain, of which is about 1,000 hours of my EU4 experience, you're really not concerned with anything north of the Pyrenees. It just doesn't matter.
And then Enderlord saying, 2 hours of German goat with a side of history. Yes, welcome to the DACAST.
You have not yet begun. You have not yet begun to see the depths to which we may descend or ascend. Depends on what you think. We're all a bunch of history nerds, and so yeah, it's
We were
inevitable.
history nerds before we started playing Paradox games.
We were history nerds before we met.
Yeah.
Honestly,
Really, the only thing that changed after we started playing Paradox games is that we got a lot better at geography. Most of us.
hey, I know where Memel is, and it's not square.
We do know where Memel is.
So it's funny because my geography, it's like I can name every single European country and capital. Can't do that with America.
Also true.
I mess up New England. New England is stupid. What a dumb part of the country. It's like, yes, here's Vermont. Oh, here's New Hampshire. It's like nobody cares about these places. They don't matter.
I can never keep the two straight.
That's because one's just like the other, but like flipped 180. 'Cause
Yeah,
they're
I know. They
let's
just
take the
turn them
box
around,
and just
they're
cut
like,
a line down the
Hey,
middle.
second state, buddy. Here we go.
I also keep
okay.
mixing up Washington and Oregon.
New Hampshire and Vermont should have bicolors that are just each other's flip-flopped,
Oh, that'd be cruel.
just to add to
That
the
would be cruel.
confusion.
Ugh.
Now Maryland's got a good flag.
Most of the states have good flags.
So I'll
And
say
then
this just for the
cover-
chat's benefit. Do not buy Victoria 3. It sucks.
Yeah, don't buy Vicky 3.
Buy Vicky 2. Vicky 2 is the best game in
Vicky
that
2 is
series.
better in every conceivable respect.
Hoi 4 is better than Hoi 3. There you go. Hot take. I said it. Project Caesar.
No, it isn't.
I am cautiously optimistic for Johan's autism. Like,
Oi 4 is a good game. It's just that the AI is. Once you
Stupid.
figure out how to beat the AI, it doesn't matter what country you play as because you will always be able to beat the AI.
Yeah, they're pretty bad.
Kind of like sight.
It's weird. It's hard to make a good AI. It really is. So I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, Vicky 3 made every bad thing about Vicky 2 worse.
Yep.
Which is to say micro.
And it made nothing better, which is surprising.
They made the army movement worse. They made the micro worse. I just don't understand it. Like
The building actually makes the game unplayable as far
How
as
do you do this, Paradox? How do you do this? Sorry, Miliardo, you probably didn't play these games. You don't know what we're talking about. But now we're just ranting. You've triggered us, as it were.
Well, here, if I can draw your attention to DEGENBRECHER's legs for a minute.
I am gazing
Very
intently
nice legs they
at
are.
the German lady's legs. Sorry, I lost my train of thought. What were we talking about,
I was
Chad?
going to say,
Also,
back to Martel's point.
The voice actress for this is really good, by the way, although that might just be because I have a thing for women with German accents.
Don't
Mm.
we all?
It's possible you're biased.
But I was going to say, this is a peak female outfit, despite the fact, or rather, it finds a way to make pants like look good on a woman.
Oh, they gave her full pant, unlike everything Alchemaniac draws.
Indeed.
Sorry, Scotty. Sorry, Granny. You don't get the full pant. Dagenbrecher took it
Whereas
off.
you would think most peak female outfits would incorporate a skirt of some kind. But he found a way to pull it off with pants and still make it look feminine.
So how would you say this compares to Virtuosa's design as far as the femininity thing goes?
All right, let's see. We go back to the other.
Oh, pull her up.
Actually, maybe
folder here. So.
Through a couple of Let me see if I can get one more.
Angles.
I was gonna say, if chat wants to see any of my artwork, I have my own military uniformed character I can throw into the mix that is similar but has some distinct design differences from DEGENBRECHER here. I will warn you though, there's a tricolor in the artwork.
Oh, could you?
Disowned. Shun the non-believer. Shun the non-believer, Charlie. Shun.
We're not going there.
My knowledge of the what is it? What does he say? These like don't quote the old spells of me witch or something.
The Jeep magic to me. I was there when it was written.
Yeah, more or less.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, chat. I know too much. I can't stop myself.
What was the question again?
Comparison of femininity, because this one has the skirt stockings.
Some serious ZR.
The ZR, which
you can't go wrong with that. I mean, I think her best competition is Dorothy.
Oh yeah, we could do the Dorothy Game Master Dorothy. Do you think?
No. OG. E2 art. But actually, yeah, show us the Dorothy if you would, Miliardo. Good host.
Let's see. I'd be back in stream 1.
She's way back in the prior characters artwork folder. She should be at the beginning under D for Dorothy.
Been a really long time since.
Yeah, that was only like June. Do you remember June, chat? Do you remember when that happened? We had a month called June. It was like 2 months ago.
B5 previous stream artwork. Just the original Dorothy art here.
The second one. With like the
where she's in the black dress.
No, the other one.
Where she's in the cube.
She's inside the cube. Yeah, the cube one. This is like definitely in my personally, just speaking for myself, top 3 artworks in the entire game.
Hang on. I think we can arrange these characters kind of on a spectrum here. So you're kind of going on a spectrum from like form-fitting and revealing to form-fitting but not revealing to revealing but not form-fitting.
I mean, they're all pretty form-fitting when you think about it.
There's a lot more flowiness here.
Yeah.
But she's also just built more slender.
Yeah, I was thinking get the Dorothy with the black dress so we have like skirt, suit, and then full-on dress to compare.
Oh, there we go, yeah. She's kind of big, though. Dungeon Rhine. What could that mean?
She works for Rhine Labs in a dungeon.
Well, okay, we knew that.
Right.
When I say she's the dungeon master, that's in both a literal and metaphorical sense.
So, did you know that archaeologists have actually found 20-sided dice in Roman excavations?
Romans played D&D. We knew it.
Little known fact, Julius Caesar's famous quote, "The die is cast," is actually a reference to an argument that he had over whether or not dungeon masters should fudge rolls. He was firmly in favor of playing the dice as they fall.
Alea iacta est.
I should be just carve that into the cover of the DM guide.
It really should be, you know.
If you're going to go through the trouble of rolling the dice, you should, go with what the dice say. If you're not going to do what the dice tell you to do, why roll the dice at all?
It's like when you're trying to make a decision and you flip a coin and then decide how you feel about the flip.
Exactly. I will admit, I've done that in a restaurant.
I mean, when it's
Oh,
for
this
your own
dish looks so good.
decisions,
So if I might add a dramatic line reading. Sorry, buddy, but Rubicon still needs me. Who needs you? Wait, I think I got that wrong. Close enough.
I'm just wondering why you did that one.
We started this talking about Armored Core 6. And we're talking about Caesar. The planet on Armored Core 6 is called Rubicon. It's very obvious. But yes.
Okay. No, we have not covered the amnesiac jellyfish lady yet.
Yeah, we've seen Fia, we've seen Dorothy. Definitely, of course, viewers and future viewers, please check out the previous episodes and see who we've talked about and who we haven't, because it's been a lot so far. We're on episode a lot.
That jellyfish lady did actually get a skin with this update.
She also, the jellyfish lady also got a D&D skin.
Hang on, I'm putting somebody else with a dress up here as well.
Rita!
Oh, yes.
Sorry, like fourth best girl.
Oh, also,
excuse me.
So in addition to the
Italian, okay, we're all different. She's in the top 4.
In addition to the Italian wolf girls,
because
Latanian is kind of the Holy Roman Empire, and
true.
What did the Holy Roman Empire own for quite a while?
Italy.
They're German wolf girls.
They got kicked out for being too autistic. Lore fact.
That's actually true.
All right, shall I drop my German wolf girl in the chat or in the stream?
Do it.
You guys can you guys can run the character analysis on my design.
Oh, we are.
Oh boy,
I am locked in. Let's go, baby.
I think Martel has seen this. I don't think you've seen this. I
have not.
I think I've shown this on a stream before, but I don't think I've shown it in any of these streams yet. Please don't steal my character.
Donut steal OC. Yeah.
Oh, that came out.
She was the graduate of the Sonic Military Academy. Oh, she's huge. Okay. Wow,
Yeah.
she is like. How many centimeters is she? Like
She is
5,000?
I did it at
reddish brown
300.
pixel.
I did it at 300 DPI, so it's
Is
gonna
that a
look
lot?
huge. That's like
That
print
means
quality.
enough to me.
300 DPI is what you do stuff for print. Stuff for the web is typically at 72 DPI.
Okay.
And so,
Oh, that's a big difference.
there we go. All right, here we go.
Is she German? You said that. Never
Whatever
mind.
gave that away.
She looks almost like she's got mutton chops.
She looks highly professional, yet also bored with her job. That's what I would say.
All right, here I got to take
Thank you.
notes now so I can figure out how well the character
Okay,
is reflecting. How
this
well the
is-
art's
you know-
reflecting the character.
I'm
You
sorry.
know
but I
the
can't
shipmaster.
uproot
You know the
chops.
shipmaster on the Super Destroyer,
Yes.
and she's like, "Wow, we only lost 1,000 Helldivers on that mission." This is
That's better
democracy.
than usual.
This is democracy officer, basically.
Chat says she looks smug. She does look kind of smug.
Are those furry legs or just boots?
Yeah,
those are boots.
Oh, okay.
okay.
Now
Just making sure. Just
I'm
making
trying
sure.
to make it so I can't unsee any of this stuff.
Well, don't worry. You get to redraw her again and again. And
That's all right.
again,
I can drop her. I can drop like the first concept sketch of her in as well. That's not digital.
So I will
better.
admit this to chat, and I will never show you though. Is I have been attempting to draw Provence, and it's come out horribly every single time. So you're not going to see it. Just so you know, drawing is hard. Is what I'm saying. Drawing is very hard.
This is probably the best I've gotten with digital art.
I'm shooting with a freaking pencil, dude.
No, not actual werewolf legs. Those are just boots. Here, I'll drop the other artwork in here as well.
Okay, hang on. I got a joke. You ready for it?
Would it make any difference if we are?
No, I would tell anyways. Honey, I saw a wolf. Where? No, in Homo one.
Why is that one not dropping in?
No reaction.
I chuckled into my teeth.
So it's a shame we don't have like Rita emotes in chat. If you're in the know, you know.
You know. I have the option to create memberships and emotes now. I could make Rita emotes happen. Or rather, I should probably use my own character here so I don't get in trouble.
Dude, I have a Virgil emote on my Twitch channel, and I've never gotten in trouble for it. I think you're fine.
There's a Were Owl among us? Who?
Oh, yeah, what is her name? You didn't tell us.
Oh, you have to guess.
Oh, Giovanna! It's
No,
not
this-
Giovanna, is it?
You didn't see this, Beliardo, but my second suggestion for Degenbrecher was Giovanna. And why
He was
why
taking
would
the
you not
piss.
continue with the joke?
He was taking
Bro.
the piss. No, he knows she's German, okay? He was never going to guess it. He was going to laugh and be like, ha ha ha.
Yes, it's funny.
I did that. I drove that joke into the ground the last two streams. We can't do a third time in a row.
The whole
We're
point
waiting.
of a
We're
joke
okay,
is that
waiting
it's
for the fourth stream chat, and then we're going to do a Giovanna again. Little does Milio know, eventually it will be the real Giovanna, and he will be tricked.
This is Adawulfa Lowenhertz.
Yeah, I never would have guessed that.
Means Bright Wolf Lionheart. But it doesn't sound as chuny when it's in German.
because
What's the
it's
German?
two proper names.
Guess what?
Oh, he said it's two proper names, but what's the German for that?
Or it
The
is German.
Adawulfa Lowenhertz.
Oh,
That's German.
Here, I'll type it in chat.
Type it, please. I have to read it first.
Look, lots of regular English
Oh, I
names.
think you said Lionheart.
Well, that's what Lowenhertz means.
Yeah, I know that, but I thought you were saying in English. There you go. Does she fly a starship?
She does not fly a starship.
Does she command a starship?
No, starships will not.
Does she have anything to do with starships?
Possibly in Book 4. I'm thinking of sending them to space because why not? Partly because I want to put a werewolf on the moon itself and decide how much power that gives her.
So they can go, oh woo!
May involve transforming the moon into a giant wolf mecha. It wasn't part of the original plan, but the more I thought about it, the more I was like, you know what? Why not send everyone into space? Most of them can take on some kind of space-worthy form anyway, or get some kind of space-worthy vehicle. And I'm already mashing up most of the first half of the 20th century's tech anyway, so why not have a final battle in space?
There are plenty of very serious and workable proposals to get to the moon in the first half of the 20th century.
That is very combat frame exceed of you, and I appreciate that.
I mean, there's already going to be an invading alien army, so it's like I could have them fight them on the ground, or I could be, let's kill them on the ground.
Take the fight to the
Alamouse.
Let's go, baby. Locked in.
Give her a giant wolf form. Oh yeah, so I have mentioned this character before because that's when I was guessing at what Horn's necklace did.
Studio Trigger. Yeah.
Was where I was like, she carries around a moon stand which she can use as a battery to store moonlight, which is what powers her werewolf powers.
You see, I really liked that guess on Rita. It's like, it totally would be. But apparently she can go Devil Trigger without having to have the moon. She just gets angry or something. I don't know.
Yeah, hers varies based off the moon, so most powerful at the full moon, and then limited as the moon wanes, unless she draws on her battery there, which is also useful if she's indoors or otherwise not in direct moonlight.
So that's an
The world of Arknights also has 2 moons, right?
There are 2 moons, yes.
Probably get very awkward for a werewolf.
So.
It's a strange place, and space exploration is a major plot point, which we will not be talking about right now. Not until later. Don't worry, chat. We'll get there. But, thank you, Ryan Labs. The only people moving the plot forward. That's all I'll say.
Lowenhertz does sound very chuny when you speak German. It's alright. It's going to be a light novel, so I will embrace the chuny.
Kirsten.
Also, hey, we had a king who was named Lionheart.
True.
Also, his first name means proud ruler.
A ruler Lionheart.
Yep.
Alright, there's historical precedent here.
Yep.
So having chuny names is nothing unusual. Like, imagine being named Washington. Like, not washing pound, not washing ounce, but Washington. Really, nothing? Come on, don't leave me hanging.
I think my noise gate's set too low. It's not picking up my mirth.
Did you groan? Did you, groan in agony?
No, I was chuckling.
Here. Oh, okay, good.
I'll have to chuckle.
Chuckle very loud. Okay, let's do it. Go. Show me a chuckle right now. Go. Anyways, yes.
If I could get this to copy into OBS, it will show the concept art along with the rest of the main cast. Most of the rest of the main cast.
The name George isn't really that cool, but
well, no. The point being, it's so ordinary. He's like, oh yes, I am John Halo.
I don't know though. You have dragon slaying in there.
Well, okay. John originally means graced by God. George means tiller of the soil.
Yeah, well, George Washington grew some crops, you know?
Group. I'm just saying, George isn't exactly on the same level as proud ruler or.
That's why it's not working. What? What kind of file type is that?
.jpeg, .png,
No,
.mp4.
HEIC.
Never heard of it.
Yeah, we're turning this
Dot
into a
.heic.
JPEG.
There you go.
Newer and yet stranger forms of file extensions.
He's a funnier file than we ever had.
My keyboard is not typing for some reason.
Anyway. Female character designs.
Oh yeah, so this is an
like
example
kind
of using the military uniform, but going for the like not double-breasted approach, but like in this case, it buttons on the side and has a skirt versus legs and buttoning down the center.
Looks like the early century greatcoat / the outer covering stuff that they issued to keep troops warm in the field.
They did like their big coats, didn't they?
Maybe. Have you dealt with winter in Prussia?
I've never been to Prussia, but I hope to be someday.
All right, there we go.
And yes, it's quite cold.
Here's the rest of the cast, plus the original Cracker artwork. There we go.
Now we gotta re-enhance.
And scroll and scroll.
No points for figuring out who the Russian is. So is this like chainsaw and mandible arms? What are we looking at here?
He bonded with a space alien symbiote.
So does he chomp?
He chomp.
He chomps with a hand.
He chomp.
And
he cut.
Is that like a chainsaw arm? Does he have like the Space Marine chainsaw blade arm?
Basically, except it's like teeth and flesh, so it's more like if a Tyranid had a chainsword.
Okay, so it's just Blaze. All right, I like it.
Oh, that's just one of the forms he can take. Imagine
Metamorphosis. Alrighty.
Imagine like Venom, but more Tyranidy.
Elisa, welcome in. Happy to have you. Do check out our massive backlog of like 7 episodes, by the way.
Here,
so this is the first.
I also have the, we'll throw the French. Am I allowed to put a French character on screen?
Saw Arknights characters and insta-clicked.
I will permit the French.
Alright.
Sacre bleu. Or something, I don't know. What do they say in France?
Hang on. This is another one of those weird file types. Must resave. JPEG. Why is my keyboard being dumb? Did I lock this somehow?
Unfortunately, I cannot assist you.
It's making that noise at me like I'm trying to do something that I can't, but...
That's like Windows being like, sorry, buddy, but you're on your own.
Alright, here's the JPEG.
Like, mad props to the penciling. Like, this is how you do it. If you ever tried drawing, chat, try doing it with pencil.
Pencil is... I think if I were trying to, like, draw quickly on stream for something, I would probably have to do pencil. I would not be fast enough with digital, I think.
I have been mildly tempted to do an art stream once or twice. I won't do it yet, I'm not good enough, but someday it will happen.
Speaking of French Foreign Legion outfits...
I like the rifle. Is that...
It looks like she needs coffee.
Doesn't matter. This is just Marianne with an AK, okay?
No, that's a Shosha, or Wait, Martel, you kind of speak French. How do you pronounce that? It was the really crappy light machine gun the French had in World War One.
Oh, the banana boy. Oh, yeah, I don't
I'm
know what it's
gonna
called.
be honest, I really don't give a toss about for the French in World War One.
Shot?
I don't know the names. I know which gun you're talking about.
And
Oh,
yeah,
that
and like
yeah.
looks like that would be pronounced Shot.
the cool Half Moon magazine.
But yeah, it's Marianne.
Is that another
Oh, yeah,
Arknights
it is.
character?
Fire Emblem Three Houses.
Played that game.
You played that? Come on.
Blue-haired
on.
girl and golden deer.
The insane, like, coffee addict church girl. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, okay.
The extremely depressed one.
AKA
think-
best girl. Fight me, chat.
I think I recruited her, but I don't think I used her much.
Sag.
There's kind of a problem with the game where you can recruit, 3 or 4 times as many characters as you can realistically use.
I was gonna say I thought I was more ripping off Saber with the hair design, but I see the resemblance.
She looks too unhappy to be Saber.
Yeah,
Fair.
she really needs some coffee.
Not just coffee, but like maybe a little something extra, like Irish coffee, you know?
Hmm.
Emphasis on the Irish. Really just bourbon with a splash of caffeine thrown in somewhere.
Yeah, does it still look like she has sideburns in this art? Right
No.
here. All right, cool. Probably because I was using a much like softer edged brush for the digital art, so a lot of the detail all blurs together.
Dude says this looks like a design for a top-down SRPG Xenocom kind of game. And
Is that what the X in
Elisa,
XCOM stands for?
Yeah, we've checked out a couple of the Kashmir Knights, but
we have reviewed a couple of the Kashmir.
we've seen Flametail, we've seen Margaret, we've seen Wagey.
Not Margaret Alter.
Well, not Super Margaret. I was.
Nalter.
Thank you for telling us that. But yes, I was leaving Margaret on the table for Miliardo's pleasure. Sorry, there's the second Margaret. Sir, a second Margaret has hit the tower. But yes. So we'll get to some of those later. We did the Black Knight Lady today. I am continuously reviewing the character requests and tallying them up and deciding who's going to be next. So if you have an idea of who you want us to look at next, first of all, please take a look at the previous episodes, and then after that, leave a comment on the video.
Without using the actual names.
Yeah, without using their actual... You make some allusion to it, because Miliardo, since his channel, does read the codename. He reads the comments, and like he figured out who Silver Ash was because somebody was posting that, so... We should have made that disclaimer at the beginning of the stream, perhaps, but it's fine to do it now as well.
Mutant guy is a
But yeah,
black hole.
What's that?
The mutant dude saying the mutant guy is a black hole of edge exists to keep emo-ish elements from being added to the rest of the characters. I've got bad news for you. Everyone is sad. Everyone is sad.
It's one of those games. I mean, stories.
Yeah, I'm planning. Yeah, they'll get happy endings, at least in the current outline.
Boom, boom, boom.
Well, it better be.
I'm very much of the Full Metal Alchemist school of thought.
Yeah. Actually, that's something that I don't care for with a lot of Japanese stories. Maybe it's Oriental in general, but the ones that don't actually end with any sort of satisfying resolution. They're neither a comedy nor a tragedy. They just kind of trail off into dissatisfying nothingness.
FromSoft.
I was thinking of
thanks for stopping by. Thanks for subscribing.
Your Name. You remember that?
Oh, Kimono no wa. Yeah.
kinda sort of pulled it out at the very end, but
I will say that that's the best movie they've made. The rest haven't been as good.
it was a great setup, and then they almost completely screwed it at the ending. The
It
Greeks
was
figured
like-
this out 3,000 years ago.
It was like
two types
landing
of
it, but
stories.
barely.
Comedies and tragedies. Comedies end with a wedding. Tragedies end with a funeral. Tragic comedies end with both.
They barely didn't screw it up.
Yeah.
It barely.
And then you have these people talking about, oh, but it's realistic. Life isn't always satisfying. Okay, but this is a drama. The entire purpose of drama is catharsis. Let's not even get into the friggin' Attack on Titan ending.
I am happy that I have never watched all of Attack. I watched like 3 episodes and I was like, this ain't for me, bro. And I'm happy to not know anything else about it. Yeah. Hot take.
Really good until the last 12 episodes.
Yeah.
There's some things that I am better off not knowing about.
Even real life is happier than some of these sad, realistic stories.
Well,
I find Game of Thrones, of course, is our favorite punching bag, to be an offense against fiction itself.
Yeah, Game of Thrones is insulting.
It's
actually,
insultingly stupid.
More so because it actually takes historical incidents where there was a heroic victory against impossible odds. And then it changes it, so, okay, but what if it was stupid and sucked and everyone just died horribly?
Just nihilism. TXC.
Okay, that's a dumb, petty tragedy sort of thing. I'm thinking of, there's this one Japanese movie, I can't remember what it is.
15
I think it's
centimeters per
5.
second.
That's the one, yeah.
Funny you knew. You just guessed it.
I'm just like,
you guys know each other too well.
Yeah, here's the summary of the story. Boy and girl.
Real quick, I'll be right back. While you talk about this.
They constantly.
Right, tell us.
Yep. So they throughout their lives, they they meet and then they go apart and then they meet again, and then at the very end they go apart and they never meet again. That's it. That's the entire story.
That's it, really? Nothing else?
Yeah, that's it. That's all there is to it.
If I wanted my own life in a movie, then I would not watch it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Why would I watch this? Again, Aristotle, the Greeks. The entire purpose of a drama is catharsis. It has to bring an emotion to the surface and then resolve it, one way or the other.
And it doesn't resolve it. It just leaves it out there.
You don't leave someone hanging. You don't just trail off into nothingness.
You see, that's what they almost screwed up with Kimi no Na.
Exactly.
They almost screwed up, but they save it in like the last 5 seconds of the film.
Yeah,
even it's like,
that.
Come on, guys. I would say this. It sits on the edge of being awful. I still like it, but it sits on the edge of almost being really bad. Here's a fun story. I watched that with my parents once, like a year or so ago.
Okay.
My mom liked it. My dad was like, "What the fuck's happening?" I mean, excuse me, what's happening? Pardon my French. But yes, I don't think he liked it very much.
It was a fantastic build-up, and then
my parents are boomers, for reference. They're like in their 60s.
About the last 10 minutes was just this nothingness, incredibly dissatisfying.
It's a weird one. I don't think they've done as good of a job with any of their. Well, I should say by this point, 2 movies coming afterwards. There was Tenki no Kyo, which was fine. It was very okay. And then there was whatever the one after that was. I don't remember what it was called, but
Yeah.
So we'll see. I hope they make better stuff because I think there's a lot of potential, but I just don't see the delivery. It's like almost brilliant. It's just ends up being okay. Like, I'll watch it. It's very pretty. The animation quality is absolutely superb. Makes Ghibli look like crap. Like they definitely kick Ghibli's ass in terms of like animation quality. but I don't think their writing quality is as good. That's the way I would describe it.
Yeah, Studio Ghibli, Spirited Away, that has a resolution.
Yeah, Ghibli sets the standard. Even though I personally dislike Miyazaki, I think that they do some very good work.
Miyazaki is a man at war with himself, and that's his problem.
There's a schizo. That's really it.
No, he's by nature a warrior poet daimyo. He yearns for the battlefield, but he denies himself. He denies his blade its purpose.
What use is a blade that can't cut?
Ah, your blade. It yearns. Yes. Yeah, he's right, and that's why he's unhappy.
I was about a quarter second away from just doing full Armstrong, but I will restrain myself manfully.
Time was you and I could do the entire Armstrong. Right?
I might have to rehearse it once or twice, but yes, we could do a dramatic reenacting of Armstrong versus Ryden. It's beautiful. It really is
so I
beautiful.
can get some like sock puppets on hand cam or something.
Dude, don't even say that. That's not a bad idea.
We could do that.
Muppet
Sock puppet Ryden versus Armstrong. I see your sock. Cuts true. The Patriots.
We don't need them to filter and foster their memes any longer. We're spreading them just fine ourselves.
Here's Skaburskadoo. They're memeing and spreading.
Oh no! Don't even German Metal Gear Rising.
No,
I don't want to hear
that's Swedish Chef.
I had a thought.
Picture Metal Gear Rising as a Muppets film
of the Swedish chef trying to teach like a first aid class.
Oh, the Muppet. Okay.
Yeah. First Skaburskadoo, the massive hemorrhage. Turn the tourniquet. Turn the bleeding.
I'm sorry, German and Swedish sounds the same to me. I know you people are going to be like recoiling in horror at me saying that, but they're both nonsense languages. I have zero German or Sweden in me. It's not ancestral to me, okay? I can understand Polish because it's nonsense. It's just gibberish. But, like, German, I'm like, what the hell is this? What the hell is this? You know?
What's this? What's this? There's sausage everywhere.
Like, even Italian sounds vaguely normal to me, and I don't speak a lick of Italian.
Anyway.
Right. All right, to answer Kevin Jake's question, Fullmetal Alchemist School of Thought, but without spoiling anything, it like starts sad, and it stays like tense throughout, but ultimately it has a satisfying and hopeful ending. So that's what I like to aim for. Is like try and keep the audience on the edge of their seat the whole time, but not go for the nihilistic ending, which is why Brotherhood is better than the first anime.
Okay, I do have to clarify, nihilistic or tragic, because there's Oedipus Rex, and then there's Game of Thrones.
Oof.
I don't want to write a nihilistic ending, and for this story, I'm not intending to write a. Well, actually, one of the characters will probably have a tragic arc, but I think the overall ending I'm aiming for is going to be more like weddings and babies.
Heck, look at Shakespearean tragedies.
That's the way to end it.
Everyone ends up dead.
Dead, or if it's a comedy, married. Yeah.
I did say Shakespearean tragedies.
Well,
also, underrated. Pretty much nobody's heard about it. But Coriolanus, played by Shakespeare, the last tragedy that he wrote before he switched to comedies.
I've also never heard of that.
Doesn't sound familiar to me.
There's actually, so you know the Romeo plus Juliet, where they do Romeo and Juliet in the modern era?
Yeah, the Baz Luhrmann one.
Who's the actor who played Voldemort?
Ralph Fiennes.
Yeah, he did that with Coriolanus.
Like he was Voldy?
No, like he played Coriolanus. And did an adaptation of Coriolanus set in the modern times.
Is this the one where they have guns?
Yes.
Okay, I have
The
seen
Romans have NATO equipment, and the Volsini have Warsaw Pact equipment.
I
Sounds
have seen
awesome.
some of this.
It's also available to watch for free on Amazon, I think.
Thank you, Jeff.
Oh shoot, they're even wearing like NATO uniforms.
Yep. NATO is Rome, by the way.
What a weird world we live in.
I missed Rome.
There was a dream that was Rome.
Oh sweet, they've got like some of the 90s get up too. Oh, this looks sick.
Honestly, late Cold War aesthetic is really good for NATO and Pact.
The way you're supposed to use it to communicate with the Zoomer audience is to say peak.
That's
I
all right.
deliberately didn't use that word.
I don't think we have a Zoomer.
I felt you avoiding the word peak.
I don't think we have a Zoomer audience, judging by the audience metrics.
It's just Boomer audience. Hello, Boomer audience. How are you guys? How's your 9 to 5?
Warships these days?
Yeah, how's World War? How's World of Tanks? You guys enjoying the latest? I haven't played that game ever, but you know.
I stopped playing World of Warships after it stopped being fun.
I only played through 2020, and then I quit because I quit drugs.
Heck, you played longer than I did.
I only made it through September 2020. I think we quit at the same time.
I quit at the Puerto Rico.
Then you quit after me.
Really?
Yeah. No, Puerto Rico was until like December almost.
Oh, must have been. Okay.
This is like ancient history, but yeah.
I was following that, but I wasn't doing it then.
Yeah, it was like ancient. It's a long time ago. It was like 4 years ago.
Okay.
But, ancient times.
Oh, last character detail I'll point out is because of her augmented wolf strength, I was able to give her the fully automatic variant of the Mauser that they made. That could generally only be used with when you had it in the stocked configuration. Because controlling the recoil was so difficult.
Very nice.
But she can use it without the stock.
I do like when
timetable. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I do like when authors take the time to think through the implications of introducing something like, super strength or magic or whatever to a universe. How would people actually deal with it?
At some point, I intend to have this guy basically transform himself into a warplane once he's gotten a better grasp on his powers. So he'll just start like melding like aircraft guns into his body.
So is he he's the protagonist from Prototype, basically?
Yes, I haven't.
He's
played
like Alex. He's Alex Mercer.
Yeah, I haven't played Prototype, but probably.
I would point out that could actually allow for some unique designs because you don't need to have a cockpit in the same area. Like you can save a lot of interior mass when the pilot is just,
the plane
in there. And you could also say a lot higher G burns because it's like with a drone, you don't really have to worry about the pilot having all of his blood go to his feet.
Yeah, when he can just like alter his internal setup to keep the blood in his brain, or shoot, he might have an auxiliary brain by that point. I don't know how far. I don't know how far I'm going to go with his shape-shifting powers. I mostly am just using it to do stuff that is cool and slightly body horror. Well, probably a lot of body horror.
That's a good metric.
So I don't know about you guys, but I am running short on time personally. So if you want to keep going and doing your thing, feel free. I'm gonna have to dip at about 5 to 10 minutes myself. So,
okay. Well,
I don't know what you're thinking, but
I should probably wrap up soon too. However, if we want to just briefly touch on a few more military uniforms.
Sorry. Can't help myself.
Cute.
She's too pretty. Like the Lady of the Lake really is just that's an aesthetic to go for, Ideal trophy wife.
I mean, My favorite wolf girl is Lapland, so I really can't get on your case about that.
I respect your decision, even if I have different decisions myself. But, that's fine. It's okay for people to be different.
Okay, best girl is obviously Exuzii.
Well, everyone's going to have a different list, of course.
Yes.
Like, for me, best girl is obviously Texas. No points for guessing that, but...
I never would have guessed that.
Chat could have guessed that. But anyways, yes.
Yeah, I figured I should, before I end the stream, I should at least hit on the other uniforms I teased in the thumbnail in the original post. So.
Oh gosh, we didn't get to those, did we?
We spent
no, 2.5 hours on DEGENBRECHER.
DEGENBRECHER with tangents.
So
let's see here. So we can look at.
Okay, what were we talking about?
Military uniforms.
I forgot we had a tangential topic.
Speaking of Full Metal Alchemist, so we've got. Here, I'll just throw everything we need to address on screen, and hopefully some interesting discussion will come out of it that doesn't take.
Please
too long
leave your thoughts in the comments.
Panelists.
Make comments. It boosts engagement. Reinhardt. Oh, here we go.
Everyone's favorite.
And then where did that other picture go?
The DEGENBRECHER episode. That's basically just called the DEGENBRECHER episode. German goat lady dominates 2-3 hours of stream. MP4.
Classic Battlestar Galactica. And then by way of contrast, I also grabbed old new Battlestar Galactica. Which has anyone in our panel seen new Battlestar Galactica?
I did.
Okay. I saw a bit of the old one years ago, but I couldn't tell you anything about it.
It had its definite ups and downs, but the writers clearly had no idea what they wanted to do after the first season.
Would you say, because I think both versions were going for a military look, but new Battlestar Galactica feels much more like current, contemporary military look, whereas the show from the 70s, this feels a lot more like a World War II or older style of dress.
I can see it.
It looks like the one on the right looks like a B7.
Knockoff Star Wars.
Like the bomber jacket aesthetic.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really like the pilot uniform in classic Battlestar Galactica because you have either the bomber jacket or you got these sick capes.
That's just a Han Solo pose.
And then you also had Frank Frazetta doing his interpretation as well.
Yeah, that is Frank Frazetta.
Is this a recruitment poster for the Helldivers? What am I looking at?
I think so. This is the Eagle One training.
So only chicks of appropriate proportions may apply.
Yeah, you need to score high enough on the Frazetta Freedom Scale.
That's how we're calling it. Not that it's true, of course, but
Yeah, I like the old Battlestar Galactica look, because it's like you've got the World War II vibes with the khaki uniforms and the bomber jackets, but it's not really in any way like a World War II uniform, but you're following rule number 4 right here. It's evocative of the World War II flight crew look, but all of the details are actually not like that at all.
Yeah, I would agree.
think if Wild Doge is still in chat, he wants to weigh in on Battlestar Galactic costume design. I think he might have dipped out already. And
Well, I'm about to have to dip myself, unfortunately.
the Cylon will be addressed when we get our full panel together for the droid stream.
Droids! We're trying to find Martel sibling. Unfortunately, he was unavailable today, so
Droids.
we will wrangle him, and he shall join soon.
Indeed.
So I don't know what the timetable is. Maybe we'll do like the next AK character section first. Maybe it'll just be droids. Stay tuned, chat. Is what I'm saying.
If we can get the full panel together, we'll definitely push with droids.
Yeah, so stay tuned. Watch the YouTube. We'll see if we can try to get the. We had some coordination difficulties this time, so please understand. We're many time zones apart. But we'll try to get you guys the thumbnail and the waiting room and such a wee bit earlier this next time. You know, we'll do our best. Kamate and all that.
Yeah, life's starting to get busy.
Somebody's got school, so you know we got to work around this. Our dearest host, who has to pass a test at the end of the month.
The real VTuber experience now. Study stream.
Then he can graduate, or wait, that's a bad term. You know what I mean.
Oh no, yeah. If I pass, I'm absolutely graduation stream.
Graduation. Face reveal stream went no, not happening. But yeah. So stay tuned, chat, is what I'm saying. Well, you know, we'll have the next one up when it's up.
At some point, I should do a new outfit reveal stream, like cover my face and try to create the most Arknights possible costume from the thrift store.
Strap on a bunch of you need dangly bits. You need like coats and jackets. You need jackets and neon.
So just like breaking open a bunch of chem lights.
I could, no. A generic Arknights character is actually the easiest thing in the world to make. It's like Cyberpunk minus the punk.
Gentleman.
It's like Cyberpunk means Metal Gear Solid. That's Arknights. Done.
Cyber Metal Lady.
Down to the stupid code names. Revolver Ocelot? We got one. Oh, Liquid Snake. Colonel.
Blue
you know,
poison.
like it's all there. You know, the DARPA diaper chief, he's there too. It's yeah, lots of plastic. Stick plastic on it. Yeah, so Cyberpunk meets Metal Gear Solid meets more plastic. There's your Arknights.
All right, Squirrel. Well, thank you for being on the show once again.
Yeah, I really super turbo have to pee. So,
all right,
I'm happy. I'm happy to have been here. We'll do the next stream when we do the next stream. So, yeah.
All right.
Anything else to say, Martel? You got anything to add? Thank you for joining us.
Martel and I are gonna press with Legend of the Galactic Heroes, I think.
Oh, go for it. You know what? I will become the viewer, but not today. Maybe later. Please continue. Thank you for chat for having me. We'll meet on the next episode. So, gentlemen, please continue, and I hope to hear great things about Kaiser Reinhardt. And if I don't hear great things about Kaiser Reinhardt, I will put a dislike on this video.
Why would we ever have anything bad to say about Reinhardt?
I'm just making sure.
Well, this Yang Wenli fellow has some good ideas.
The Yang Wenli has some drip. Okay, that hat. No wonder Miss Greenhill was enamored with him. But that's all I'll say. Well, with that, gentlemen, in chat, I bid you adieu. I need to leave. I have stuff to go to. So, later.
Fun.
So speaking of Yang Wenli and the open collar there, you know who almost but didn't quite give us the Federation uniform in real life.
Oh,
So close, yet so far away.
wait, is that the?
That is the Space Force dress uniform, first iteration.
Oh, did they actually settle on a design?
The current it's still a prototype until 2025. The current prototype, unfortunately, they like closed up the collar, so now it doesn't look like the Federation one. And I also love all of the Space Force symbols they decided to put around above the brim here.
Oh, that's disappointing.
It's like, I feel like it's close to looking cool, but there's just a couple choices that baffle me. Like the whole asymmetrical buttons on one side is like a neat idea. And it feels like they're trying to do a bit of that George Lucas thing where they're like, there's certain like clothing elements we're not going to use because this is the future. So it's like we have no breast pockets, so you just kind of stick the ribbons roughly in the right spot.
I like the button over, like the coat design. And I dislike everything else about it. Especially how you can just barely tell that you can just barely make out the tie knot and nothing else. And at that point, why have a tie?
Right. Like either open the collar up more, like in this iteration, or just go like full
Don't have a
leatherneck with
tie.
it.
Yeah.
Or have a cravat.
Or I was about to say, or if you want to open it up, you can have a cravat.
Much like our gentleman right here. Or, since this is also...
I actually like both the Alliance and the Imperial uniforms for Legend of the Galactic Heroes because they both have very distinct aesthetic schools, but they also both look cool.
I think the Federation one looks a little bit more comfortable for day-to-day wear.
Yes, and the Imperial one looks like it was made by a bunch of people LARPing as 18th century Prussians, which is,
Yeah,
exactly what it was.
I love how the rank indication for the Imperial is like total uniform. Like it's not just like changing an insignia on the collar. It's like very
It's very
distinct.
kind of like the Navy, where they use the piping on the sleeves to indicate the
rank.
for only a bit more total.
I also like how it's like up on the shoulders and the chest, where it's like very visible.
Also, please note, when you are on a spaceship, you can make your uniform look however you want. There is no camouflage. There are no other considerations. It just looks cool.
As long as it won't catch on fire, and it won't like snag on anything.
Yep.
Which actually, that brings up an interesting point too. Like the Imperials, like they do not do like ribbons or medals at all. It's just like a slick uniform with the like shoulder and chest decoration.
Could be one of those things where, the rank is supposed to reflect the person, so you either matter or you don't, and no amount of colored ribbons is going to change that.
Which fits with the way Reinhardt's trying to run things compared to the Alliance, which is all about ribbons and awards.
It even fits in with the way the old nobility was running things, which is, you're a noble or you aren't. And if you are a noble, there's gradations and everyone knows exactly where you stand in the pecking order.
Ribbons and medals would lack subtlety.
Or worse yet, they might give a commoner ideas above his station.
Hmm. Yeah, or it's like if you're, because it could only be given to you by someone of higher social standing than yourself. In which case, it's also like, oh, this is how you thank me, is with a ribbon. Like, how about some more retainers or something?
Yeah. They also do. Do we have any photos of the ships?
I can find some. I mean, we got a little bit in the background here, but
Because in addition to the uniform, the general ship aesthetics, and also the Alliance and Imperial Marines. With the because
yep.
the Imperials do the whole thing of having the skull shape for the stormtrooper, but they also have some moments where they actually have the stormtroopers pop the faceplate, so you get the human eyes. You got to look at the human underneath. If we're gushing about Legend of the Galactic Heroes, it's because we love it and we think that it's great.
Okay, if I Google stormtroopers, it won't actually make them show up. There we go. Oh yeah, here we go. Here's a good one. Hermelin saying it feels like there should be outlining to make the lining pop. And there's nothing to make the Space Force uniform stand out compared to the Marines or the Navy. I think the asymmetrical buttoning was a good start. And then, I mean, really, if you're should be the Space Navy, not the Space Force. So I would just like take the Navy uniform, change the buttoning scheme, and then yeah, use silver instead of gold or something. But
Frankly, I would just have them do the Imperial Navy uniform. Star Wars or Warhammer 40k. I don't care. Pick one.
both look good.
Plus, the 40k thing is basically a sci-fi version of the Royal Navy during the Napoleonic Wars.
Looks
And as
awesome.
anyone who has ever watched Master and Commander can tell you, which by the way should be everyone, it is a good film. The Royal Navy had drip, as the kids say.
Actually, that brings up another picture I have here. So I mentioned Star Trek earlier. So here's what we got for Star Trek: The Motion Picture, which was not very well received.
It looks like evening wear.
And so for Wrath of Khan, they went back to the same costume designer and were like, hey, we need something completely different. And one of the things they handed to him as they were like, reference this, was Prisoner of Zenda. So this is, and where we got this, where he was like, okay, I'm going to base it off of military uniforms, but because the Federation is technically not supposed to be a military, is like sort of the element he added to try and make it not look entirely like a military uniform was the like quilted turtleneck collar here, which I don't know,
Which
to me looks like a woolly pulley, so still
I
looks
was going to
military.
say, I like it for exactly that reason. It looks like everyone has, like, it looks like everyone basically has a turtleneck that they're wearing underneath the jacket.
Which I think there's lots of cool ways you can decorate the neck.
Yeah. And the collar is a bit of texturing without being obtrusive.
And I will note, they are using different colors for different roles. You'll note the collar matches the color of their little rank band there that also serves as the closure for the jacket. And I believe they stuck with this costume for like the next 4 or 5 films. So it was a solid design.
Think so, because that would have been, what, the undiscovered country?
Yeah, somewhere around there. That's one I still need to see.
It's a good one. Genuinely, really solid.
So it seems by about the 1800s or yeah, it seems somewhere in the 1800s and 1900s. We basically perfected the military dress uniform.
Well, again, it's kind of like the reason why everybody these days wears a suit and tie. It's not just because the Anglo-Americans conquered the world back in the 40s. It's because it's inexpensive, it's simple to make, and pretty much everyone looks good in it.
Yeah, because on both sexes it can be tailored to like emphasize the things that you want to emphasize.
Yep.
Like on the
With
dudes
men,
here,
it's that double
plug
triangle
for-
setup. With women, it's the hourglass.
Pardon me? Which also the having the belt on the outside helps with that as well, which was something the Space Force did not do.
Hmm.
That is why the Sam Brown belt looks awesome on the dress blues. But all right, back to there's our brief digression to Napoleonic fashion.
Yes.
All right, got the boarding armor, which looks like a skull without being a straight up skull face. We've got one of the ships here, and let me find some more ships.
Which, if I knew nothing about the show, and you showed me, two, the Imperial ship and the Alliance ship, and you said one of these is a democracy, one of these is an autocracy, the one on the left looks like the democracy one. That's what I would guess.
Here, I'll pull up the autocratic ship. Or I would, yeah, there we go. Actually, to expand on that, what is it about each design that speaks to the political philosophy behind it?
Well, for a start, the one on the left is that olive green tone that we associate with the American military in World War II, while the one on the right is the field gray that we associate with Prussia and later just the German military in general. For another, the one on the left just looks less angular, which generally suggests less autocratic unless you're going for the full organic design like the Covenant ships in Halo.
Hmm.
But generally, fewer angles means more democratic in design. The one on the right looks more angular, blocky. Kind of an extension of the Rebel Alliance versus Imperial ships in Star Wars. You know, the Rebels have the Mon Calamari cruisers and the blockade runner that you see at the start of Episode 4. And then on the other side, you've got the Star Destroyer. It's a wedge.
I also noticed, and these are both similar classes of ship, right?
Right.
I noticed the autocratic one has fewer missiles of higher quality. The democratic one fires many missiles.
Yeah. Which I think that one just speaks to a difference in design philosophy. Like, the Alliance decided to go for just lots of guns, whereas the Empire decided on fewer guns but higher caliber.
Which you could argue is reflective of their political philosophy.
Yep. Or it could just be a difference in design philosophy, like going back to naval theory pre-World War I, the British Royal Navy tended to favor higher caliber guns and less armor for their armored cruisers, whereas the German Navy favored more armor but lower caliber guns.
Hmm. So they just so happen to both be like picking the right counter to the other side.
Kind of.
Or did they know enough about what the other side's capabilities were as they were developing stuff to start being like, all right, the Germans are putting much armor on their stuff, we need bigger guns.
More of a difference in design philosophy. It was one of those things where there hadn't been a major war for a long time, so theorists were like, okay, well, we think that larger guns are going to be more advantageous because you can go faster and shoot harder. And then a different theorist was like, well, we think that staying power is more important for an armored cruiser, so beef up the armor even if you have to sacrifice a certain amount of firepower. The British were probably right, but they also tended to leave the doors to the powder room open, so their ships had a bad habit of spontaneously exploding.
There's a problem. You will fight how you train.
Yep. Don't cut corners.
Pull up the fighter ships here. I'll save it for the droid stream, but may I just say, I also love the way the Vulture droid looks.
The droid is really good design.
Right. Here are their single man fighters.
And they basically look like smaller versions of the ships.
I like how for the smaller ships here, they're not going the same like World War II dogfights and space route. So you have like the cockpit's fully enclosed. There's no canopy for looking out because of like the distances they're engaging each other.
The remake of Battlestar Galactica did something kind of similar, where the wings are basically just mounting points for the air jets to rotate them.
Pull out. Or the Vipers.
So the Cylon design was really good for the fighters, I thought.
Do they still call them Raiders in the remake? Cylon Raiders.
They did.
Interesting. That's a very big difference. Why must you treat every image I try to drag and drop here as being named download.jpg? That one in, that one in, and now spaceship stream. Got our spaceships here. Okay, so this one's not piloted then. It's just straight up like they went, the robot is the ship.
Yep, there is a brain inside the head, which you can later on see.
The classic one had a crew of 3 Cylon warriors piloting it on the inside.
Interesting.
However, they basically left the Viper. They basically made it just a little more aerodynamic looking. They kept the overall shape.
Yep. I like the aesthetics of the Battlestar Galactica remake.
So seeing this now, this is also probably where the Necrons got their Croissant of Doom from.
Check the timeline on that.
Should be, because this was what, 2006, and I don't think the Necrons got their ship until at least a couple years afterwards. Unless they had stuff in Battlefleet Gothic beforehand. Doom Scythe.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Incidentally, Battlefleet Gothic really nailed the ship design too.
I'm gonna say the
Very good job.
The Alliance ship here looks a lot. The Imperial ships look a lot. The Imperial Battlefleet Gothic ships look a lot like these Alliance ships, just more Baroque.
I always thought they looked basically like a cross between cathedrals and the
Brewm?
the Merrimack, the CSS Virginia.
Mm.
You know, the old-fashioned,
Ironclad.
the old Ironsides look.
Hmm.
Only, you know, covered in Gothic sculptures. Which, did you know the origin of the Gothic style of architecture? Like, why it came into existence?
No.
I find this interesting. So the entire purpose of Gothic architecture was originally to maximize the amount of light available in an interior space.
hence all of the arches and columns, so that you have like your supports, but then you don't need as much wall.
Yep. Allow for, high windows. Make use of daylight. And it also really looked good.
Yeah, because they didn't just go for like, all right, let's just make like a lattice work of like perpendicular lines.
That is,
So I imagine you'd run into an upper limit of how much weight you can stack on that kind of design compared to an arch.
especially with pre-modern materials. Steel girders, rebar, and concrete allow for some very different structures.
This model kit of the new Raider looks sweet, but like, you don't see it as much in this picture. The cockpit section is actually very elongated.
Yep.
Looks cool.
Yeah. And on the Legend of the Galactic Hero side of things, just to loop back to that, the layout of the bridges is also rather different for the ships. And also kind of shows a bit of a difference in philosophy, because the Alliance Bridge is that, multi-tiered station with workstations everywhere, multi-tiered structure. And then the Imperial design is just it's arranged around a central command chair, and then you've got a pit where all of the workstations are in a horseshoe around the commander.
Deal. There's a picture of the bridge. That, and let's see if I can get a picture of the Imperial Bridge.
Really, everything about that show is great. Except for the whole Church of Terra thing.
Yeah, because then the Imperial Bridge has just got the big old chair. These bridge pictures are from the new anime, but they will work.
Pretty much the same.
Yeah, they're just
actually. So there's a part of me that wants to watch the new anime, but I'm also, I will admit, afraid to. Because I've already watched the original, and it was great. So I'm not really sure how the new anime could ever live up to that, and if it disappoints me, then all I'll think about is how disappointing the new one was. But yep, there's a distinct difference between the Imperial and the Alliance bridges, as you can see here.
Because here you've got like your staff up here, but if you actually wanted to like physically go down to talk to your station operators, like looks like a much more, you have to go like back here, down the stairs, back around, whereas on the Imperial ships it's basically just a single staircase, gets you down to the pit where everyone is, right?
Yep. Actually, the Alliance one kind of reminds me of one of the problems the American Navy had when we were rolling into World War II. The battle stations were not the same as the duty stations. So some officers, like a damage control officer, was required to run up and down 5 separate flights of stairs across 2/3 of the ship to get to his battle station from his duty station. The Alliance bridge kind of reminds me of that. Like,
Right, so he's just doing his job, and then they're like, battle stations, battle stations. He's got to pick up everything and just take off.
yep, it was a major problem. It actually probably cost the ship crucial minutes in the opening salvos.
Especially, well, and it's not just that one guy. Like, you go to battle stations, suddenly everyone is running through the P-ways.
Yep.
Like, I've toured some of these ships. Like, there's not a lot of room.
Nope. Like I said, eventually they recognized that it was a problem and started changing procedures for that. But yeah, it made American ships uncomfortably slow to react during the early part of the war. And on the Alliance side of things, imagine if you're the watchstander on the top deck, the one just out of shot on the picture, and you need to have a conversation with that guy in the lower right on the edge of the catwalk there. You're pretty much leaning over the edge and shouting at him in the middle of a battle.
Also, has this happened in the show? Has anyone ever, like, the ship's been hit? Has anyone ever taken a tumble over this railing just down into the pit?
I don't recall, but I know that people have definitely been, trapped under debris, impaled, and burned to death.
Because, like, the Imperial setup is actually, like, the horseshoe is basically how, like, a smaller COC would be set up nowadays, where you have the watchstander at the head, and then you just have the horseshoe with all of the duty stations right there, so everyone can basically, like, see everybody and talk to everybody.
Yep. Okay, here's really going out on a limb here. The Imperial design looks like it was designed on the orders of the people who actually have to fight in the ships. Some noble who brooks no nonsense, and he's like, no, you are going to design the bridge this way because that is what works. The Alliance ship looks like it was designed by the military-industrial complex.
We have these extra staircases. What are we going to do with them? What
Not quite so much that as some engineer who's never actually going to have to use the ship, but he knows that this is the most ergonomic layout with this specific set of variables that he's trying to maximize.
Why would the guy up there ever need to talk to the guy down there?
Exactly. You don't understand. This will lead to a 30% increase in efficiency with this very specific set of circumstances I have in mind.
Also,
on paper, it works great.
Standing desks will do wonders for everybody's health.
And whenever they get feedback saying that this really isn't a great design, could we get something better? The engineers just go, no, you're using it wrong. You're the problem here.
Well, if you just read this 300-page manual and memorized it, really get full use out of this system.
Yep. Really, we could go on about the show forever.
I know from stories I've been told, like, that is exactly how some of the engineers for things think. Or they're like, don't you like all these features we gave you? No, like, please make this dumber.
Yeah.
When I'm using this equipment, I will be using about 5% of my brain.
And heck, on the civilian side, look at phones. There is no need for 95% of some of those features. But you will get those features whether you actually want them or not.
Some of the ones I've used, I've also been using not for their designed purpose, which is why it took me forever to realize I could do it. like at nighttime, I can set my phone to basically be monochrome green, but it's
Huh.
not because it's a special night setting. It's because I'm telling the phone that I'm colorblind and I need it to look this way.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah, the Alliance bridge definitely gives me the feeling of a military-industrial complex. The Imperial bridge gives me the feeling of the engineers are taking orders from the nobility, who are also the warriors.
You know what? I bet this whole thing, this is probably some load-bearing part of this part of the ship, so they can't change it.
That makes perfect sense, actually. So some engineer was just like, well,
We got this load-bearing structure here, like why not just build the deck around it?
that does make far too much sense.
Dude, I forget, do they take like an elevator to get up here, or is there a staircase somewhere?
I believe it's an elevator, but there's probably a backup staircase at the back of it.
One would hope.
Surely even engineers wouldn't be that, you know.
And you know what, like it wouldn't be as bad if you could like turn down the artificial gravity, so you could basically just like jump between levels.
Yeah, that could work.
That'd be like a very Gundam way of actually what is the Gundam bridge isn't actually set up that way, but the what I really like about the Gundam ships is how the interiors are designed with zero G in mind. So like all of the walls have like little pop out handles you can grab onto, and so you can basically like zip line around the ship when you're in zero G.
I do like that. It's funny because I both like when you can see ships with, you know, artificial gravity, but they're also designed for zero G stuff. I'm also fine with spaceships that are just ships in space. You know, you're never going to see artificial gravity fail because it is telling a story. So I'm okay with that one. I'm also going to have to sign off.
All right, well, this seems like a good place. We hit some Legend of the Galactic heroes. I'll briefly talk about the Emestrian uniform. Uh, what I like about it is that you're imitating the appearance of a greatcoat, but it's actually two separate pieces. So the pants and the skirt there is separate from the top, which I think is a neat design element.
You're going to hate me for this, but I think it looks like PT gear. It looks like a
Because of
two-piece
the way it's
tracksuit.
separate.
Just the pants.
I sort of like it for that reason, because it is like a weird mashup of like utilities and dress uniform.
It's like the alchemists. It's like the alchemists got to design their own uniform.
I need it
Like,
to look
what do we like?
cool.
PT gear.
It's comfy. No, you can't just have the Adidas tracksuit. Okay, okay. All right, stick a yeah, because actually, like the little breast flap here, I don't think this is functional. I think it's purely decorative.
I think so, yeah.
They're just like, all right, church it up a little so we can call it our uniform. But actually,
Yeah. And then the Fuhrer gets the design and he just sighs, puts his head in his hands, and is like, yeah, whatever, give it to them.
like it matters that much.
Half of them don't even wear shirts anyway.
What is the tearability factor if I flex? Just gonna
Thanks for
get
having me on.
torn or burned up. Yeah, thanks for coming on. And chat, thank you all for tuning in, and for everyone listening in later, thank you for watching the VOD. This there was sort of a plan. This sort of went to plan, but we did eventually talk about everything in the thumbnail. And hopefully everybody that is requesting the DEGENBRECHER analysis has gotten all of the DEGENBRECHER they could want.
We did get sidetracked by German Goat Lady, but who can blame us?
And we'll, yeah, I'll try and get the waiting room up earlier next time. But until next time, this has been Miliardo, Squirrel, who has departed already.
I'm Martel.
I'll go find us somebody cool to redirect into. Ooh, giant Roman columns on the Imperial Bridge would look sweet. Let's see who is still streaming right now. Ooh, Pippa's streaming. Let us raid into my mother-in-law. And hopefully that. Why is that not coming through the? What on earth is going on with my volume? Sorry if that blasted anybody's ears. It was playing through my external speakers instead of my headphones. That should be better for everybody. All right, set up the raid here. That. All right, everybody. Go say hello to Pippa, and see you next time.